across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
On Monday, we're live across the UK. Welcome to Talk, the home of free speech and common sense. And as ever, the king of the housewives, or the housewives' choice, Ian Collins, back tomorrow afternoon between 1 and 4. But drive time is on. What a momentous day. I was speaking in the handover there about the extraordinary scenes in Israel. US President Donald Trump told cheering Israelis that the long and painful nightmare is finally over after helping broker that ceasefire deal. The cynics are jumping up and down saying, oh, how long will it last? But let's be really honest. Whether you like him or you loathe him, this was a deal that was on Joe Biden's desk for 4 years. Somebody said to me earlier, oh, Trump could have done it sooner. The fact is he did do it. Let's just have a clip. Earlier, as he addressed the Israeli parliament, Donald Trump hailed the peace deal. Have a watch, have a listen.
Let me also convey my tremendous appreciation for all of the nations of the Arab and Muslim world that came together to press Hamas to set the hostages free and to send them home. We had a lot of help. We had a lot of help from a lot of people that you wouldn't suspect. It's an incredible triumph for Israel and the world to have all of these nations working together as partners in peace. Generations from now, this will be remembered as the moment that everything began to change, and change very much for the better. Like the USA right now, it will be the golden age of Israel and the golden age of the Middle East. It's going to work together.
3 minutes past 4, delighted to be welcome. This man's come all the way from Washington, D.C. just to be on my show this afternoon. Harry Cole, how are you?
Exactly that.
Oh,
worth the flight itself.
So much to talk about. Let's start with the impact of Donald Trump.
Yeah.
You now base yourself in D.C. He is a figure who is revered or reviled in almost equal measure. I've said to you on numerous occasions how I crave to have a politician in this country with the cojones big enough to do what he says or she says they're going to do. This is his deal, isn't it?
Yeah, no, totally. I think just listen to the praise that Netanyahu was giving him. Every world leader is queuing up to make the point. You know, this is something that others have tried and failed to do. And Donald Trump's got a unique sort of blend of business, show business, and, you know, pure muscle. It's like a diplomatic force like no other, but it gets results. You know, there was sort of, you know, some sort of sneery questions last week at one of the White House press conferences saying, oh, is it appropriate that your son-in-law, who's got business dealings in the Middle East, is involved in trying to get peace in the Middle East? It's like, well, yes, he's trying to get peace in the Middle East because he's got a business dealings. And business and money talks in that region. And if everyone can get around the table to bring the Israelis, the Gulf states, and now Hamas to the table, it's remarkable.
It is remarkable.
No one else has been able to do it. And, you know, the hostages are out. And we must delight in that.
We just... your show's on tonight, and I know you're going to talk about, like, there are cynics out there who will say, and I quote, oh, you know, the thing about it is it's not going to last. But the guy has put in place something that can make a massive difference. Now, you know me, I could sit and do this for 3 hours, but frankly, I would be as bored as the listeners. It is a monumental day. I read that comment, that message I had from my Jewish friend, and to everybody who's Jewish, who listens to Talk, who knows where our loyalty is, and it's been a horrible, horrible time. I hope this is the beginning of a better time, life, whatever for you, and we appreciate your support and we'll continue to speak the truth. I, though, have to say, you've got Donald Trump, love him or loathe him, and you've got the United Kingdom Prime Minister. You just heard, ladies and gentlemen, the leader of the free world hailing the whole world coming together. This is Keir Starmer, also in the Middle East, sat with the Qatari leader earlier. Try and spot the difference.
See today hostages being released, see aid getting into Gaza is, I think, what the world has been longing for a very long time. And it's really important now that we press on to the implementation. All parties must play their part in the implementation. We owe that to Israelis and Palestinians to make sure that we build on today, move forward. We, the United Kingdom, stand ready to play our full part. In particular, we stand ready in relation to monitoring the ceasefire and decommissioning Hamas capability and weaponry.
Even the Qatari minister, or whatever he is, president, honestly, when you put the two together, you're a political powerhouse. There's just nothing about him, is there? I mean, there's been a big debate this weekend about how much the British government actually got involved.
There's a touch of John Terry and his shin pads.
So this is a great story. You've nicked my line. Oh, you've nicked my line. It's a great article in one of the Sunday papers that said, to be honest, Starmer's a bit like John Terry. Do you remember the Champions League final and John Terry was banned? So he was supposed to sit in the stands, and at the end, when they'd won Chelsea, he went down the tunnel and put on a full Chelsea kit and came up the tunnel and got the cup, and everybody went, but you didn't play. That's how I feel about Starmer.
I mean, if anything, you could make a case that actually Britain, France, Canada, and all the other sort of wishy-washy ones, and Benjamin Netanyahu made this point in his speech today, said just when the West was starting to turn on Israel and was getting, they recognised the Palestinian state without getting the hostages out and saying, oh, if you don't release the hostages, we will. I mean, it was nonsense. If anything, we hindered the talks. Marco Rubio has said, the US Secretary of State has said, Britain's and France and Canada's actions hindered peace talks. And
so
he's up there saying, oh, look, we're here now. I'm not
going to let this go, and I want you lot to listen, and I want you to call on 0344 499 1000. Over the weekend, that odious woman, Bridget Phillipson, who's running to be the Deputy Leader, the Education Secretary, I think she's mad. She basically went on Trevor Phillips. You won't have seen this, will you?
I saw it.
And she basically said, we played a massive role, which was completely sort of at odds, because Starmer had been, it's all about Trump, 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 Trump. Have a listen to Bridget Phillipson, because this kicked off a right argument on Twitter. Have a listen to this.
We have played a key role behind the scenes in shaping this. It's right that we do so because it's in all of our interest, including our own national interest, that we move to a lasting peace in the region.
Well, when you say behind the scenes, like what? I mean, it seems to everybody else in the world that this has been done by Trump and the Israelis and Hamas. What part did we play?
These are complex matters of diplomacy that we are involved in, but we do welcome and recognise the critical role that the American government played in moving us to this point.
The critical role. Now, as a result of her, a gentleman called Mike Huckabee, the ambassador to Israel,
America's ambassador to Israel, yeah.
He basically tweeted about 10 minutes after Bridget Delusional Phillipson went on Drake. He said, I assure you, she's delusional. She can thank only at the real Donald Trump anytime just to set the record straight. So everybody jumped up and down. And then have you seen this tweet today from Steve Wickoff?
Yeah.
Today, on his government account, Special Envoy Steve Boy, this to me is like the government of Number 10 have phoned up and gone, sorry, we're in a bit of a hole here. We don't know like we're useful. He said, I would like to acknowledge the vital role of the UK in assisting and coordinating efforts that have led us to this historic day in Israel. In particular, I want to recognise the incredible input and tireless efforts of National Security Advisor Jonathan Powell.
Funny about Jonathan Powell's on the ropes on this China stuff, and he's got his mate. It feels
no mention of Starmer.
Yeah, no mention of Starmer, but also it's very interesting timing for Jonathan Powell, who's obviously has worked closely with Steve Witkoff. They are, Jonathan Powell does have a very key role to play in the Ukraine stuff as well. I think that does need to be noted. And yes, if anyone from Number 10 was doing anything on the Middle East peace stuff, it was Powell. But look, I don't think you can escape. I always tend to believe the first message rather than the diplomatic mop-up of the second message.
Absolutely. So we think probably they think we've done absolutely nothing, which is another story about how utterly unimportant we are on the world stage.
But again, it cannot be stressed. It's not that we haven't done anything. We've actively made it worse.
Palestine.
And that is what Marco Rubio said. The Secretary of State, #1 diplomat in America, said Britain and France have made things worse. And that is shameful.
Love to know what you think. 0344 499 1000. Jodie is here to take your calls, and Ryan, WhatsApp, same number, and you can text 87222. Rachel, Starmer, why is he bloody well even there? All he succeeded doing is alienating one of our oldest allies and rewarding scumbag terrorists. Let's hope he stays there and doesn't come home. That's what a lot of people would think.
I just think you got the. It's just, yeah. I mean, you saw it in that clip with the Qatari guy.
We're a laughing stock, Harry.
To begin with, Starmer was beginning. When everything was going a bit rough for him and going a bit south from the beginning of his premiership, you couldn't get him off that plane. All he wanted to do was fly around the world, summit hopping and doing that side of it. That's slightly coming home to roost now. Because
so being in America, where you are now in DC, National Guard and all that.
Yeah.
What's the Americans' view of England now, the UK?
There's really, well, I mean, there's two really separate things here. One, as soon as anyone hears my accent, they go, what the hell's happening in England? What's going on with trans? What's going on with free speech? What's going on with the rape gangs? And I think they got the free speech. I think they got the free speech thing a little bit overblown. But on the grooming stuff, I think the more they hear about it, the more horror that this could even happen in this country. So they're fascinated by that. And then they've got the weird Starmer Trump loving. Trump is very private, publicly very supportive of Starmer in the run up to that state visit with the King. When last time I was back, that's what we were talking about. He was on good behaviour. But there's a lot of people in the administration, in the wider sort of Republican circles of DC, they're just baffled by what it is that Trump sees in Starmer, because they see kind of what everyone else sees. So I wonder how long that uneasy peace between the two of them will last, because they are very, 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 very different people. One's a boring left-wing technocrat, one's a very pugnacious, active, passionate, Republican. So they're like the odd couple. But so far, Starmer's managed to keep them on board. How long that lasts, I remain to be seen, especially when you've got days like today where Netanyahu and others are willingly and openly saying, some people were on the right side of history of this one and some people weren't.
Meaning that we're not.
But very firmly puts America on the right side of history, and those that folded, those that abandoned Israel after pressure from the UN and the charity sector and all the whiners on Twitter, we'll remember that one.
I think it's a day of embarrassment for the United Kingdom. I think it's a fantastic day for the Jewish community. A man who you would never, you know him very well. You interviewed him last week on your amazing programme, Harry Cole Saves the West, here tonight from 10 o'clock with a couple of special guests. Boris Johnson. Have you read this in the last 10 minutes?
I've heard about it.
Boris doing what Boris and only Boris can do, has called in the last 10 minutes on Twitter, X, whatever. He's called Starmer's help in the ceasefire talks is about as useful as a fart in a gale. I mean, that's vintage Boris, isn't it? Really?
You miss that tenor phrase, especially as a journalist. He writes in intros, doesn't he? But he's not wrong, is he? There was Bridget Phillipson did not help herself.
No.
And learned diplomatically the hard way that you can't boast to.
Now, so the man sat in a tent or somewhere in wherever he is with the man from Qatar being laughed at, going, oh, we're here. I mean, I think it's a photo opportunity. Trump's saving the world. The Israelis are joyously accepting that the hostages have come home. Will Hamas, what will happen, blah, blah, blah. Back home, I want to talk to you about this because this government has a pretty big crisis to deal with, and it centres around the Chinese spy trial collapse. We'll make it really, really simple. There were a couple of people accused of spying within the House of Commons. The CPS, the Crown Prosecution Service, say we were ready to go, and this government went, oh no. Which is really ironic because, Keir Starmer, a legal man, it's all about playing it by the book, was, of course, the Director of Public Prosecutions. But he came out at the weekend, Phillipson did it again. Have you seen what she said? She said it was their fault. This is Bridget Phillipson. She's like a mad attack dog. Have a go.
I can say today, to be absolutely clear, is that he was not involved in the substance of the case and discussions around that, or the evidence connected to the case. I can give you that reassurance. He did not have those conversations around the substance or the evidence of the case. These are matters for the relevant authorities, the Crown Prosecution Service, and they date back to 2023.
Oh, well, let's blame the Tories. I just thought the ex-Director of Public Prosecutions, who doesn't even go for a wee without checking the legalities of it, would be absolutely... Yeah, he's slagging off the CPS now.
Oh,
this is dodgy, this story, isn't it?
It's got all the hallmarks of something that could be incredibly damaging to the government. They're at pains to say, the problem is that the government's defence on this one at the moment is... Excuse me. The government's...
Harry Cole. There we go. He's just been on a plane, man. He's been so busy. That's aircon in first class. You don't get that in tourist.
Right.
How was first class?
I wasn't in first class.
Business?
I'm not in a position to discuss my modes of my travel. But
you speak to me.
Need to save the West. No, look, they're saying, no ministers were involved. No, Jonathan Powell, the National Security Secretary, didn't have this very weird turn of phrase there, didn't have these substantive discussions. Well, then, fine, that means it was the PM, because someone did it. CPS said, we asked for the evidence, and it wasn't provided. And then they go, oh, well, of the Tories. I'm just my Jeremy Carl impression.
Oh, they did the Tories.
So they're saying it's the Tories. And then the Tories come back and say, well, no, hang on, we were bang up for prosecuting him, and we were ready, and we had this massive dossier of evidence, which we were going to turn over to the CPS. Unfortunately, we got kicked out by the voters there, so something changed. And look, the accusation hasn't really been denied that they put the interest of trade relations with China before our national security, and that is damning. I don't think there'll be a smoking gun letter where Keir Starmer goes, guys, let's collapse this trial to not offend the Chinese. So I think they'll be able to wriggle around it for a very long time.
He wouldn't have said it like that.
He wouldn't have done it. Yeah, he was not that stupid to put it in writing. There won't be a paper trail. There won't be a piece of birthday cake or whatever it is that gets it. But everyone can see what's happened here. Everyone can see what's happened here. And they'll say, oh, it was the Tories, they didn't go far. No. You guys collapse this.
How do they survive, Harry? It's daily. We're in embarrassment on the international stage. At home, it's just this mishmash of reactive panic. I mean, today, and I met him at the Reform Party conference. Young George Finch, 19, the Warwickshire council leader, attacked over the weekend by a man. He was out with a female companion having some dinner, attacked in the street. Farage saying today, Starmer's disgraceful rhetoric for the assault of Britain's youngest council leader. That's the reason. Where do you stand on this?
Well, stop calling people Nazis and stop calling people fascists. And the problem is, when you do that, you end up with a situation like Charlie Kirk about a month ago. Young man, a young passionate advocate for free speech, shot in the neck and by a crazed leftist. So look, if you go around calling everyone a racist and a fascist, well, firstly, I think you sort of diminish those terms because they're thrown around so liberally.
Absolutely.
But
right.
Also, you charge up the political rhetoric.
Now, the other reason that you've come back is very, very important. Nobody else has covered this. Today, and I freely admit, a massive heroine. In fact, I just met her son downstairs. Margaret Thatcher would have been 100 years of age today.
The centenary of Margaret Thatcher's birth, and her son, as you say, Mark Thatcher, was in the building. I've interviewed him. It's his first interview since 2009. He doesn't do interviews very often. He hasn't always been the biggest fan of the press, but he did make a very passionate defence of journalism and the free press today. Look, he's spoken out about his mother's legacy. Fascinating. You were there. You were also on the show to pick it all apart with us tonight.
Fascinating interview, Mark Thatcher.
His views on what his mother would have made of, the situation we're in the world, the economy, Brexit, the NHS, benefits bills, small boats, all of these things.
What would Thatcher have done with small boats? What would she have done? Because I said this to him, and I said it to you on air as well. There's a great thing, I don't know where it is because I'm no good at social media, but something popped up some weeks ago, and this was from 1983, so 42 years ago, and somebody asked a question. She did her perfect Thatcher, and she went, if the right honourable gentleman is saying that people should be able to come to this country to claim benefits with no intention of working and bringing their families and no intention of embracing our culture, he is advocating international chaos. And I looked and went, that was 42 years ago, love. You were spot on.
It's fascinating. What would Maggie have made of the world we're in today? And there's a great line where Sir Mark, without giving too much away, because you've got to subscribe to
10 o'clock tonight.
Harry Cole Saves the West. We watch it from 10 o'clock tonight. We might put a little bit out sooner, so subscribe on YouTube. You might get it sooner. But he said, look, the world my mother lived in is upside down now. We're through the looking glass, basically. So, no, really interesting chat. Very, very rare.
An exclusive, to be fair. And he's taking me for lunch.
And he's taking Jamie for lunch. I'm going to hot foot from here to.
Listen to this.
There's a massive
first class from DC. Couple of television shows. Deign me with his company, and then get whisked by a chauffeur-driven Bentley. Where are you going?
I'm going to get in a black cab.
Just going to get in a black cab. I'm doing my best. How come on?
The girl. No, tonight there's a massive celebration of Thatcher's life, her 100th birthday. Every living member of her cabinet who's still alive will be there. Whole lot of big names. So I will bring you everything from the red carpet tomorrow.
Good man.
I'm going to interview them there.
And you are then going back to DC.
And then I'm going back to DC.
He's a busy man, and he very good. So very, very quickly, are we an embarrassment on the international stage?
Well, I think we can pull our socks up somewhat, yeah.
Is Starmer of any influence really anymore?
I think he's played a good. Look, I think Britain's influence on the Ukraine situation will remains solid. I do hope now. Thankfully, we've got these hostages out, and as long as once we have a framework for how we rout Hamas, these people cannot be allowed to, just return to normality in Gaza. They have to leave. They must leave. Once that's sorted out, I do think attention does need to return to the situation.
I can also exclusively reveal that you asked him what his mother would have thought of Nigel Farage.
That was a fascinating moment.
That's interesting. That's tonight. Harry Cole Saves the West.
And I'll be back on Mike Graham in the morning to discuss it all as well.
Good man. Yeah. MG in the morning, JK in the afternoon. Here's the thing I'm going to say to you. I know that it's getting dark early. I know that people perhaps had a heavy weekend and it's 4:20 on a Monday and people are like, I'm really knackered. So I can give you the perfect pick-me-up. We're going to go to the break, peeps. You can call 0344 07440911000. We're going to hear of what our Prime Minister sounds like on the world stage, because this will get you up and at it.
See today hostages being released, see aid getting into Gaza is, I think, what the world has been longing for a very long time. And it's really important now that we press on to the implementation. All parties must play their part in the implementation. We owe that to Israelis and Palestinians to make sure that we build on today, move forward. We, the United Kingdom, stand ready to play our full part. In particular, we stand ready in relation to monitoring the ceasefire and decommissioning Hamas capable.
There would definitely be an urgent question. We know that the Commons Speaker as well, who will be the one who will grant the urgent question, was not particularly happy about what happened. And when it was first reported that the case had collapsed, he said that the government needed to answer lots of questions. And at the time, we didn't even know that the CBS had asked for that material. You know, this was like a month or so ago. And the Commons Speaker was not happy. So we'll definitely see some action in Parliament, and we'll see how the government does.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
About 4:25, we're live across the UK. Talk, of course, the home of free speech and common sense on a massively historic day. US President Donald Trump has told cheering Israeli lawmakers that the long and painful nightmare is finally over. There is peace in the Middle East. The cynics will say, is it going to last? The 20 hostages still alive have been released into the hands of the Red Cross. The remains of those who have sadly passed or been killed also passed over. Palestinian prisoners released. Whatever you think of Donald Trump, he has achieved something that no other president has done. We were just focusing on that, the Jewish community, our thoughts are with them, but also our Prime Minister. I mean, you know, on the world stage. Yeah, we're really important. No, we're not. We're absolutely nothing to do with it. We recognise Palestine and nearly put a kibosh on the whole thing. Sam on Keir Starmer, go.
Keir Starmer is a joke. It's just so embarrassing. And then he's got the gall to stand up and say, the UK made a significant contribution to the... It's just another lie. You know, they literally promise everything, deliver nothing, blame everyone else, and then trying to take credit for something they didn't do. It's embarrassing, it's pathetic, and I just don't know anymore. I really don't.
Brilliant, that's Sam. He feels like I feel. 0344 419 1000. Let's go to Cheshire. It's posh there. Matthew, you're on Talk Drive. Good afternoon. I guess you're here to say that Phillipson and Starmer were instrumental in achieving peace in the Middle East.
Oh, Jeremy. Oh, I pay a lot of money to get in air condition. It's our world standing. We're an embarrassment. It's shocking. Trump is showing to be a statesman. He was a bit of a joke a few years ago. Oh, Donald Trump, hey, look what he's doing. He's getting the job done. He's standing on the world stage. It was the same with Farage. Oh, he's a bit of a joker. You see this post that Nigel's taking now. He's showing what a statesman should be. And then we've got Keir Starmer, and what a drama. He is an absolute weapon. Oh, what a whopper. He's embarrassing. Imagine what Margaret Thatcher would be doing. No, she's turning in the grave watching this.
100. She'd have been 100 today. And Harry Cole, it's a brilliant interview with the sons of Margaret Thatcher. It's on at 10 o'clock tonight. But yeah, you wonder, won't you? Thatcher would have thought, I suspect, Farage has a pair. She just would have... The thing, I said it during the election campaign, and the problem was for the Tory party, well, for all of us, quite rightly, OK, the Tory party had stopped being listened to. And frankly, I think the Muppets could have been elected. The fact is, we ended up with this man who has absolutely, I think, no political feeling, no oomph, nothing about him. And he spends so much time, I think, Matt, trying to please all the people that he ends up hacking everybody off completely.
It's only a matter of time before Trump calls him out. We're saying about Ukraine. What China are going to start squeezing their thumb on him to back off, so to give Putin a bit of a chance. You can just see it coming because we owe China so much money. They're just going to pull his strings, and he's going to play the fiddle.
Absolutely, I think he should fiddle off. Listen, Matty and Cheshire, thank you very much indeed. You've gone mad this afternoon. Jane on Starmer, go.
You can imagine, can't you? They're all sat backstage going, go on, toss a coin. Heads or tails, who's going to sit with him? Because who the hell is that man sat with Keir Starmer?
0344 419 1000. Text to 87222. We say a very good afternoon to former government special advisor James Price on Talk Drive. Hello, JP.
Hello, my friend. It's always good to see the proud talk tradition of people doing impressions of Keir Starmer is alive and well. We love to see it.
Oh, no. It's just... I don't want to do them. I've sat here and I've listened to the people who quite understandably slag off a lot about Donald Trump and some of the fact-checking, but the truth is, the realtor from New York City has managed to bring the Arab world, the Muslim... He's managed to say, I don't know whether it's going to work, but we've brought the hostages home, we're going to do something. And that just useless lawyer I just don't know. And when I watched Phillipson at the weekend going, which didn't sound like that, we've been absolutely critical, I can't do it. But you haven't, have you? You haven't done anything. You recognise Palestine. And I think that Harry Cole's right, JP. I think that Israel will take a dim view of the United Kingdom after this when the dust settles, excuse the pun.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think that there's been a total upending of conventional wisdom. Yeah. This is, as you say, a brash New York City real estate mogul. Actually, three of them, because his son-in-law Jared Kushner and his special envoy Steve Witkoff are also both people whose experience is in striking deals and building buildings in New York. And that these three people have managed to do something that generations of foreign policy makers and think tankers and
this was on Biden's desk, JP. It was on Biden's desk for 4 long years.
Yeah, well, look at all the wars that started under Biden. But it's actually, foreign policy is pretty simple, really. And we've known it for about 2,500 years, ever since Thucydides wrote his History of the Peloponnesian War. If you're not careful, the strong do what they can and the weak suffer what they must. And all this stuff about, international organizations and institutions and stuff is all well and good when things are fine, but when people's backs are against the wall, it's raw power and the ability to actually do things that counts. And Trump is someone who said, you know what, we've got all this power, we've got this influence, we're going to use it. And the twist is that he actually managed somehow, despite all the, you said the terminological inexactitudes as regards the truth often when it comes to Trump, he has been able to present himself as an honest broker, because he's not been slavishly pro-Israel, he's not been slavishly pro-anybody, and he's actually managed to say, right, Netanyahu, here's what you're going to do next. And Netanyahu has come to heel with him in a way that others haven't done. At the same time, Netanyahu's got, the biggest hopes that he could ever want, the hostages returned today, and crucially, the Iranian nuclear program, because we know they were building nuclear weapons, even though they lied and said they weren't. That's in smithereens as well. Absolutely. It's an absolutely historic achievement.
Now, you used to be a government special advisor, and at one time, the head of the government, when you were working there, was Boris Johnson, who weighed in on Twitter about an hour ago. If you're just tuning into Drive Time, good old Boris, eh? He said that Starmer's help in the ceasefire talks was akin to a fart in a gale. JP, your response to that? Love it.
Yeah, well, I think Boris is always a better writer than he was a Prime Minister. But he's absolutely right there. And I think that it's this problem that we've had in Britain for too long now, that foreign policy has been relegated to just trying to appease various domestic groups. The Labour Party knows that they are losing their historic support from Muslim communities up and down the United Kingdom, losing them to the Your Party, or whatever Jeremy Corbyn's
The Fruit Nut Coalition.
Yeah, that lot. Yeah, exactly. And then the Greens, the deputy leader of whom so bullied a British rabbi that he and his family had to go into hiding because of all the death threats. Never apologised for that. So Labour know they're losing a lot of these horrible people, and they're trying desperately to claw back some of these voters. It's not going to work, by the way, because they've been so weak at dealing with all the horrible stuff we've seen in the protests and all the rest of it, screaming from the river to the sea and all the rest of it, that they've lost that vote. They've emboldened and created this awful, awful monster. And the only consolation that I can see from any of this is that these horrible, smelly lefties are now going, wait a minute, it was bad orange man who saved the day. And you can see their brains, they can't actually process the fact that Trump managed to do it and get the peace deal they said they wanted. To the point, by the way, you saw this the weekend, there was a protest seemingly against the ceasefire.
I honestly, within an hour, I was watching it, within an hour of it being announced as a protest. They're just professional protests. What about that dreadful woman that I don't like at all, Bridget Phillipson, going on television and saying, oh, we're right behind it. And then Mike, this is brilliant. I don't know if people picked up on this. The ambassador from the United States to Israel, Mike Huckabee, said, I assure you she's delusional. She can only thank the real Donald Trump anytime just to set the record straight. But today, weirdly, Wickoff, as you said, one of Trump's friends, on his government X, by the way, so I've got a conspiracy theory. He put, I'd like to acknowledge the vital role of the UK in assisting and coordinating efforts that have led us to this historic day in Israel. In particular, I want to recognise the incredible input and tireless efforts of National Security Advisor Jonathan Powell. So two things. I suspect Jonathan Powell's gotten the blur and gone, this isn't looking great. Do you think you could, we are friends, do you think you could just, even if you disagree, don't mention Starmer because he's an idiot, mention me because I'm getting a bit of pressure over the Chinese and this will make me look good. Thoughts?
Yeah, I think you are absolutely bang on. Let's just unpack what this all means. You've got, as you say, an official government account on Twitter or X or whatever it's called saying this, and it looks so obviously written by either a committee of advisors or whatever else, saying, oh, in particular thanks to this one person that most people at home will never have heard of, Jonathan Powell, who has been massively implicated in what I think is probably the biggest scandal of...
We'll get on to the Chinese thing, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
But it does look so obviously fake and dodgy. And like, hey, can I borrow your phone for a second, mate? I just want to tweet something out. Yeah, sure, why not? I'm busy, bringing peace to the Middle East, whatever. But you're right. I think it smells worse than the Great Grimsby Fish Market at 4 a.m.
Mate, we must... Absolutely, and we'll keep saying it. I read out from a friend of mine, Dave, who's Jewish, and his family, and he was saying how grateful they've been for the support on this station, how difficult it has been to be a Jew in the last few months, and one can only hope that that improves. But we also have to touch upon with you the story that you're talking about, which is the Chinese spy trial cover-up. You will be able to explain this in much easier terms than me, but there seems to be a massive row brewing between the CPS. The irony of this, by the way, is not lost on anybody. The Crown Prosecution Service is saying we were good to go to basically say these two people have been spying for China. We had the dossier of information, and this government, although apparently we can't find out who, have rowed back on this. So this in itself is completely ironic. Our Prime Minister, obsessed with the law, used to be the CPS, is now blaming them. There's something more here. This is more smelly than the Grimsby fish market, isn't it?
Absolutely right. This positively whiffs of a kind of young make young's the fish of the day adverts come to life in 4D. No, it's absolutely terrible, this. And I think that because it's slightly complicated and because it's not all come out yet, I don't think people are quite aware of just how big a scandal this is. And in any just world, this would bring a government down. What we've essentially seen for a very long time now is the Chinese Communist Party. Remember, they're communists. Yep. They wish us no well wishes in the world at all.
Nope.
We've caught them spying in all sorts of ways. We've caught spyware in the solar panels they sell around Europe. We've caught them infiltrating universities and doing all this, dodgy money to try and inveigle their way into nice institutions and get support. We've now seen these two these two traitors who have been caught red-handed with allegedly special applications on their phone that you can only get if you're a member of a Chinese spy service. Slightly fishy, that one.
Back to Grimsby.
Big trial due that collapsed, as you say, because the Labour government was unwilling to provide an expert witness to say that China is an enemy. Because under the old Official Secrets Act, that's what the language of, I think, 1911, when that act was passed, that's how you described it. And whilst the previous government was very willing to say this, and MI5 and all the rest of the security services are saying this, the Labour government was unwilling to do that.
Why do you think that is, pal? Because Kemi Badenoch today is saying it's a cover-up. Why are they unprepared to say that?
Well, I think it's quite simple that the Labour government has been so rubbish at its stewardship of the economy. It's desperate for any pound or pence or yen or renminbi that it can get its hands on, and it's been promised, a small pittance from China if it doesn't do this. And I think there was some reporting in newspapers recently that basically said that the Treasury lent on this, saying you can't do this, it would be bad for the economy, and that's come out. And not only that, by the way, the Chinese want to build a mega embassy in the city of London.
Yeah, I've heard
just by the way, confusingly, just right by a very critical, secure communication set of wires and cables and all that fancy stuff. And in the plans that they have to submit, there's a room in the basement, and they won't say what this is for. Now, some may speculate, given that these are communists, that this is a torture chamber, and they won't admit to this, of course, but they seem to be very eager to be able to get their hands on this embassy. So all of this stinks to high heaven. We know that the Chinese Communist Party is no friend of ours. If anyone was concerned, by the way, about the economy, actually we do very, very little trade with China. They're not a big deal.
It does smack, and I'd love to talk for more, but I will say this before we let you go, me old friend. I don't think that's going away. I think when the euphoria of what's happening in the Middle East, it is frankly bugger all to do with Keir Starmer, in my humble opinion, has whittled away, not from the hostage point of view, but diplomatically. I think this is going to come back and bite them. And I think Morgan McSweeney, who's under pressure anyway, I think Jonathan Powell, and I think ultimately Keir Starmer. I mean, we go back and we say every single day, it was going to be cleansed, it was going to be perfect, it was going to be new, mature politics. As every day goes past, there is an even greater stench to this government. Can I just say, loved having you on today, and I love the channeling of Zelensky there in the old combat jacket. What's going on? Where are you? Ukraine, what's going on?
If I told you that, obviously I'd be contravening the Official Secrets Act and I wouldn't want to give it away. But I do think if you wear a jacket like this around certain parts of the world, people have given you a half glance, might think you're some kind of ex-intelligence or security services, and might leave you alone and not want to check your...
We'll never leave you alone. We love you. James Price, thank you so much indeed, former government special advisor. What is it, 20 minutes to 5 o'clock? We're live across the UK. A historic day for the Jewish communities across the world. The hostages reunited with their families, and next, our Middle East correspondent, Yotam Kofino, on Talk Drive.
across the UK. On DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Welcome back to Talk Drive. I've just put some pictures up because this is utterly brilliant. So in Sharm el-Sheikh, Donald Trump, like the king peacemaker he stood on stage in front of a big sign saying Peace 2025, and he's welcoming basically all the leaders of the world who have been instrumental in making this happen. And we've had Macron, we've had the man from Qatar, we've had a bloke who looks like he comes from the Faroe Islands. God knows who's on there now. He's welcoming somebody else. He's got the Turkish leader now. He's on the way to the stage. There he is. Look, Peace 2025. If you're not watching this on YouTube. And I think about 68 people time. Little Starmer stood right at the back. We are just a non-bleeding entity. I want to keep one eye on this. So there we go. Yeah, that's brilliant. There's Trump. Thumbs up. There he is, the leader of Turkey. Let's just give this a couple more seconds and see if Keir Starmer now rates below the Faroe Islands, Turkey, Qatar, France, Austria, Belgium. Oh, he's brought his wife out. Oh, the Turkish man's wife's even more important. She's got her handbag. I've had a nice day. She said it's lovely here. She's getting on before Starmer. They're having a chat about where they're going to go tomorrow. Starmer is stood someone going, we have been instrumental to this. No, who's next? Oh, is it going to be Keir Starmer? 7th in the queue. No, it's not. No, she's gone shopping. It's lovely. Peace 2025. Donald Trump welcomes to stage. Who's next? No, it's not Starmer. No, it's not. So we could be here all year. Oh, God, brilliant. Right, listen, on a serious note, 16 minutes to 5, I've said throughout today, an incredible moment for Israel, an incredible moment for families who have suffered so massively over the last 2 years. Yotam Kafino, our Middle East correspondent. Yotam, a very good afternoon to you. I wanted to start by repeating something I read an hour ago from a good friend of mine, Dave, who is a Jewish man, and he's been very supportive of the fact that this station has supported. And I want to read you something because I think this would put into context what you probably and many other people would feel. He says, before you go on air today, Jez, I wanted to send you a thought. I've spoken to many Jewish friends and my parents today, and every single one of us has been glued to coverage in some way. Every one of us has spent this morning in tears at this exchange finally happening after 2 long, horrible years. This is one of the most emotional days as a Jew I can ever remember. Trump, for all his failings, is a hero to Israelis and will be revered for this deal. It's been hard, Jez, really, really hard to be a Jew for the last few years, and the support of people at Talk like you, Julia and Mike and others, not only doesn't go unnoticed, but is accepted and taken with gratitude in a way that many cannot fully understand. I think it's really important, and I think the Jewish community has deserved far more respect and support that it's got. We've only done a little bit, but it's been hard, hasn't it, Yotam?
It's been horrific. And I think today, once again, we're shown who wants peace and who wants death. If you're a normal person, this day would be tremendous for you. You know, hostages are coming out. Some of the Palestinian prisoners are coming out. I'm not talking about the most vile psychopaths who have murdered and slaughtered. I'm talking about those who were arbitrarily detained in Gaza. They're now reunited with their families. The war is over. They can start clearing the rubble. This is a day to celebrate, but you still have those people who just won't let this go. It has become their identity for 2 years on. But you know what, Jeremy? Today has been an amazing day. There are a few days in the past 2 years that I will never forget, and today was one of them. I spent the day at the Knesset in Jerusalem, the Israeli parliament, and I spoke to Israeli ministers. I was there when Trump gave the speech, and at the same time as he was talking, we saw these amazing footage of the 20 living hostages finally coming out and being reunited with their families. The most heartwarming images you can imagine. But at the same time, they're out. There are still 24 dead hostages inside Gaza because Hamas has only produced 4 dead hostages. So they have essentially broken their commitment because all of them were supposed to be out by now. But Hamas is still looking for the remaining hostages, and so is Israel and Qatar, United States, and Turkey, apparently.
In terms of not being Israeli, not in any way to detract from anything today, is you're right. There will be people who are cynical and they'll say, "Is this going to last?" Where do you rank Donald Trump's peacemaking abilities? Where does this leave him in the minds of the Israeli people? He's criticised left, right, and centre across the world, but he's done something that nobody else seemed able or willing to do, right?
Yeah, look, it takes sometimes a person like Trump to make peace. The fact that both Israel and all of the Muslim and Arab nations respect him in such a way, and that they all unite, which is very rare, unite to come together essentially to tell the most vile terror organization on earth, enough is enough.
Yeah.
That speaks volumes, and he needs credit for this. He's a very odd figure, but he will go down in history as one of the most influential American presidents when it comes to the Middle East. I'm not sure about the second phase, because we have seen Hamas going mental in Gaza in the past couple of days. They have executed collaborators, quote unquote. They have gone against anyone who dared oppose them in the past 2 years. So they are probably not willing to hand over their weapons. And this is where Keir Starmer comes in the picture, because he's apparently one of those who's willing to go in there and to help reconstruct and to help,
Really?
you know.
Well, that would, if I was Israeli, that wouldn't be filling me with much hope. By the way, just I don't mean to make a mockery of this, but there he is, still Donald Trump. He's been on this stage somewhere in Sharm el-Sheikh with a big sign saying "Peace 2025." He's meeting all the most influential leaders across the world on the different way. We've had Iceland, we've had Georgia Meloni, we've now got to the Faroe Islands. We've had somebody from Bucharest. We've got a couple of not a sign of Starmer, which just about sums up where he and his government are. Can I just ask you very quickly, Yotam, where does this leave Netanyahu? A divisive figure in the eyes of many Israelis, but where does it leave him?
Look, I was at the Knesset today, and I could see how he felt vindicated. The most powerful man on earth, who is currently also one of the most respected people, at least in the Middle East, was essentially vindicating Netanyahu, telling him he's one of the greatest leaders Israel has ever had, a wartime leader. You shouldn't count Netanyahu out. I don't think his career is over. I think we're headed for elections, but I really don't think that his career is over.
Yotam, to everybody in Israel, to all your friends and family and everybody, just from our side, just brilliant that this has happened. And of course you say it's the next phase, but what's been achieved has been achieved, and we really appreciate you being on the show today. Yotam Kofino, Middle East correspondent. What could be better at that exact moment? 17 minutes after, he don't look very happy, Trump's, here comes Starmer. He waddles up, here he is. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Starmer, 32nd in the list, behind everybody. Behind even the Faroe Islands. Donald Trump's like, go over there, go on, you've had your 2 minutes, disappear. You recognise Palestine, you idiot. I nearly said the wrong word. Right, that's it, 0344 419 1000, this is Talk Drive!
There will definitely be an urgent question. We know that the Commons Speaker as well, who will be the one who will grant the urgent question, was not particularly happy about what happened. And when it was first reported that the case had collapsed, he said that the government needed to answer lots of questions. And at the time, we didn't even know that the CBS had asked for that material. You know, this was like a month or so ago. And the Commons Speaker was not happy. So we'll definitely see some action in Parliament, and we'll see how the government does.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Your Talk Drive, so we're still watching these pictures from Sharm el-Sheikh. If you're watching on YouTube, Trump is basically stood on this stage just welcoming all these leaders, and they come up to and bear homage, and he shakes their hand. I love Sean in Gloucester. Have a look at Trump's face when Keith Stalin is stood next to him. He looks like he despises him as much as we do. He's loving every minute of it, by the way, Trump. JK, I've just heard Yotam saying that Starmer wants to go into Palestine to disarm Hamas. I couldn't think of a better person to go into the devil's den than that muppet. That's Donna in Birmingham. Afternoon to you, Don. Good afternoon, Jeremy. I can only second the words of your Jewish friend. As I, living in England, I want to thank yourself, your colleagues and the many listeners to your station who supported Israel and the Jewish community. Your support and kind words were a lifeline in those hard times. Every text and call of support lifted me when I needed it. Thank you. That's from Sarah in Portsmouth. Thank you, Sarah. Hello to, John. As I watch all the meetings Trump is having today, people should always remember this is no spring chicken, and who else would undertake on this schedule he's doing? He's 76 years of age. Power to his elbow. Carolina in Bath. Afternoon, Jez. Everything about Starmer is frankly bloody wrong. He's a national embarrassment. He always looks very uncomfortable. He makes my skin crawl. God help us, and long live Donald Trump. And finally, for now, no. Hugh from Basingstoke says, I have great admiration for the impressive James Price. He's such a worthy and honest-looking fellow. Can we hope to see him on the Farage team? He will be a great asset. Electric ship as always. Finally, Graham Pack, actually. Trump will be miffed if he's pipped to the Nobel Peace Prize by Keir Starmer and David Lammy for all their pivotal work behind the scenes. Can you imagine next year? And the winner of the Nobel Peace Prize is Keith Stalin. 5-5. Darren on Starmer, go.
What is it with Keir Starmer and his cronies all the way through, from Return of the Sausages through to banning export of certain weapons, calling for Netanyahu to be arrested, targeted sanctions on Israeli ministers, recognising Palestine as a state, condemning the Qatari attack, spotlight on Trump? Now Keir Starmer is trying to take that away. I mean, what is it? Is he subletting Downing Street, by the way, because he said he was going to put UK first? He's never here.
Couldn't disagree more, or even agree more. Rob's in Lincoln. Afternoon, Jez. If any of us lied in our jobs as much as Keir Starmer and his cronies had, we'd be out the door in a heartbeat. It's an absolute bloody joke. Johanna from Salisbury. Good afternoon. Jez, how could Starmer talk about a load of word soup and say absolutely nothing? Watch the hands. Then Bridget Phillipson, I'd like to do... No. What? Oh, I'd like to know what the hell she's on. It's giving her delusions of grandeur. Bill in Romsby, good afternoon. Starmer went to Egypt because they needed someone to make the tea. What a joke. What a bleeding disgrace he is. I wonder if his plane will be delayed. Then to no Prime Minister's questions on Wednesday, yeah? Don's in Chelmsford. Hello, Don. Jez, I'm sure that Arab minister had eyes painted on his closed eyelid while Starmer was droning. Let's go to the phone lines. Not only is he trying to be important in the Middle East, he's got a massive crisis coming at home with this Chinese spy trial. The CPS are saying, you, the government, have deliberately stopped this because you're terrified of China. Gary in Derbyshire, 2 minutes, go. Brilliant. Gary? Brilliant. Let's go to Karen in Bournemouth, go.
Hi, Jeremy.
Hello, 2 minutes, go.
Incredible day today.
Yeah.
What I want to say is that Starmer has managed to reduce this once great country to a rather unimportant province of China.
This Chinese thing, I mean, Harry Cole said it is not going to go away. If you're tuning in saying what we're talking about, two spies from China found to be spies. Big dossier. Last government gave. We're going to give it to the CPS. Got thrown out. Labour came in. CPS ready to prosecute Chinese spies. Word comes that within this government there's concern that we might upset China and they're worth a lot of money, which they are worth a lot of money, but not too much in terms of trade. So it's been quashed. They're blaming the CPS. This is the man, Keir Starmer, the legal man who everything is about the law. He used to be the Director General, well, the director of the CPS. Oh, my God, I've seen it all now. In Sharm el-Sheikh, Tony Blair's now walked on stage. Oh, dear. He's been on the Majero, hasn't he? What do you make of Starmer as a person?
A creep.
Brilliant. OK. Thank you very much indeed. There is Blair. I was a bit ahead of you. Thank you, Karen. Yeah, Blair looking thin. I was reading, actually, you know, this talk about this interim... Just rubbed his shoulder. This interim administration of which Sir Tony Blair might be a part, as suggested by Donald Trump. Apparently, Donald Trump was rowing back on that on Air Force One last night. He was saying, oh, we'd have to make sure that everybody liked him. This is because half the Arab world said, we don't want that creep anywhere near it. Anyway, Macron's back. Macron's having a double dose. So he's brought somebody on. Is that his dad? It's all going on here, I have to tell you, if you're just tuning in. It's like Donald Trump is literally meeting everybody. Starmer was number 32, which sums it up. Right, it's almost 5 o'clock. We're live across the United Kingdom. If you want to be on, it's really simple. It's 0344 499 1000, a historic day for the Jewish community. Trump telling Israeli lawmakers in their parliament the long and painful nightmare is finally over. There is peace in the Middle East. Those hostages, 20 released. The remains of the dead ones also being released. Palestinian prisoners. Now it's the next stage. Cynics will say it's not going to work. Other people are saying, do you know what? For a realtor from New York City, maybe this guy will never get the respect he did. I want to talk about Britain's involvement. Bridget Phillipson and Keir Starmer would say, oh, we're absolutely central. The ambassador from America to Israel said you're delusional. You've done absolutely nothing because you recognise Palestine. At home, right? He's caused all sorts of problems with this Chinese spy trial. As ever, massively unpopular. Talk. Why does Starmer sound so uninterested when he speaks? Because he is not very interesting. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. Jodie will take your calls. You can WhatsApp the same number as well. You can also, if you want, send us a text. The usual number, please, 87222. Do please start your message with the word talk. But, my friends, live across the UK, News of 5 is next on Talk.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Oh, welcome back, my friends. Dry. Donald Trump is glorifying in his peacemaking role. He stood on stage in Sharm el-Sheikh greeting world leaders and important people. He's now having a... Can I just tell you that the last person that came up was the leader of FIFA, Gianni Infantino. I quite don't know why he was there. He was there. Anyway, they've all now come on stage for a photograph. And guess who's at the back, looking very miserable? Oh, yes, there I am, right at the back next to a tall bloke who's more important. Oh, my God, I'm sometimes so embarrassed to be a British. 0344 499 1000. Great unanswered questions, though. What is Gianni Infantino, the leader of FIFA, doing on stage? Peace 2025, Jez. Is it me, or does Starmer look like a Thunderbird's puppet next to Trump? What a complete bet. Yes, great show. Thank you very much. I might be in the minority, but I actually don't think Starmer has done a good job on the world stage. You just look good because he's more useless here, says Jane. Jess, Tim, I'm not called Jess. Another very true Thatcher quote. The problem with socialism is that you eventually run out of other people's money. That couldn't be truer, could it? I agree. Jess, but the image of Starmer and the Qatar minister, what a joke. Even in his robes, he looks like a man. And there's Starmer with his legs crossed, trying not to poo himself. Jesus God. Afternoon, JK. The only reason the president was kind to Starmer in the UK was to respect the king. Don't think he's going to be in future. Couldn't agree more. Jez, just comparing the Trump and Egyptian clip, all mansplaining and confident, whilst the Starmer Qatar clip, Starmer is the only one sitting back, looking nervous, subdued. If you're wondering what people are talking about, earlier today, Donald Trump spoke to the Israeli parliament, a historic day for the Jewish community, for Palestine, peace, Hamas and the Israelis, a ceasefire, hostages release, and for the Jewish community across the world. A massively important day. This was Donald Trump earlier addressing the world, to be fair.
Let me also convey my tremendous appreciation for all of the nations of the Arab and Muslim world that came together to press Hamas to set the hostages free and to send them home. We had a lot of help. We had a lot of help from a lot of people that you wouldn't suspect. It's an incredible triumph for Israel and the world to have all of these nations working together as partners in peace. Generations from now, this will be remembered as the moment that everything began to change, and change very much for the better. Like the USA right now, it will be the golden age of Israel and the golden age of the Middle East. It's going to work together.
5:05. Whether you love him or you hate him, you have to think, do you know what? The man's done a job. He's brought together two sides that nobody else was either willing or prepared to do. And today is a historic day. So you see that and you think, oh, yeah, you know, powerful. Keir Starmer jumped on board a plane. He said, I need to be in Egypt to prove to everybody how important I've been to this. He had a rather awkward sort of press moment. He was sat with a very bored-looking minister from Qatar who frankly looked like he'd rather be asleep. This is ready for dynamism, ladies and gentlemen. This is our leader on the world stage. Go, Starmer!
See today hostages being released, see aid getting into Gaza is, I think, what the world has been longing for a very long time. And it's really important now that we press on to the implementation. All parties must play their part in the implementation. We owe that to Israelis and Palestinians to make sure that we build on today, move forward. We, the United Kingdom, stand ready to play our full part. In particular, we stand ready in relation to monitoring the ceasefire and decommissioning Hamas capability and weaponry.
Well, I've told you what I think. You've told me what you think. Let's ask a man who knows everything. Conservative commentator Lord Benedict of Spenceton. A very good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm well, thank you.
Oh, my God, slightly rough and ready looking. You two are also channeling Zelensky. What's going on with all my commentators today?
Who else is looking scruffy?
Well, James Price had a sort of camouflage jacket on. I mean, it's all, I don't know, are you both sort of somewhere you shouldn't be?
He wasn't at the party I was at last night, so you know, I can't speak for him.
Well, OK. Just honestly, I know I get accused of being unfair to him. You look at Donald Trump, love him or loathe him, B, right? And then you listen to Starmer, and I literally find myself putting my head in my hands going, I used to be proud of this country on the international stage. Very well be right. But he stood at the back of that queue. He came in about 38th behind the Faroe Islands and Iceland discount stores to meet blimmin' Trump. And now, I don't know, there's just no presence, is there?
I mean, to be honest, he's throughout his time in office, he's simply sort of limped on by not being somebody else. We all know that he only became prime minister because he wasn't the Conservative leader, and that wasn't ever what he was going to be. Was this sort of great statesman-like figure, let alone a particularly inspiring prime minister. He promised us quiet competency, and he hasn't even been able to deliver that. But emphasis has really been on the quiet, I think. And when you look at him on the international stage, and it's a proper rogues gallery of interesting people, but that's the very least I could say for a lot of these people, is that they are interesting. They're characters. There's something behind them. Our leader is as grey as they can come. Even the Dutch representative is a more interesting looking figure than Sir Keir Starmer. And, that's the most sort of inoffensive country you can possibly think of. Really, he's not played much of a role in all of this. It's been slightly embarrassing the way that he followed in the footsteps of Macron by going, oh yes, we're going to recognise Palestine because this seems like the right thing to do. And the Americans threw him a bone earlier today by getting Steve Witkoff to tweet.
I want to talk to you about this for people who haven't tuned in, because they might have thrown him a bone, but on Saturday on Trevor Phillips on Sky, Bridget Phillipson, that odious woman who's running for Deputy Prime Minister, she was asked the important role that the UK... Have we got that clip, ladies and gentlemen? The role that Bridget... And this is what she said on Sky. She's utterly of the view that the UK was central to everything. This is Bridget Phillipson yesterday, please.
We have played a key role behind the scenes in shaping this. It's right that we do so because it's in all of our interest, including our own national interest, that we move to a lasting peace in the region.
Well, when you say behind the scenes, like what? I mean, it seems to everybody else in the world that this has been done by Trump and the Israelis and Hamas. What part did we play?
These are complex matters of diplomacy that we are involved in, but we do welcome and recognise the critical role that the American government played in moving us to this point.
We recognise the critical role the Americans have played. You mean the critical role? You mean everything. That was her. This was swiftly followed, dear drive time few, by Ambassador Mike Huckabee on X. And he's the US ambassador to Israel, saying, I assure you she's delusional. She can thank the at-real Donald Trump any time just to set the record straight. So that sort of had everybody for 24 hours going, they think that the UK is rubbish. Today, Steve Witkoff, special envoy, man who with Jared Kushner was behind a lot of this, on his government account, Benedict, releases, I would like to acknowledge the vital role of the UK in assisting and coordinating their efforts that have led us to this historic day in Israel. In particular, I want to recognise the incredible input and tireless efforts of National Security Advisor Jonathan Powell. Now, just let me play with you a second, if that doesn't sound wrong. I think two things. You haven't mentioned Starmer. You're an old mate of Jonathan Powell who's beginning to feel a hit of heat round his collar about the Chinese spy thing. He sent you a message and you've done that. They don't rate us at all, the Americans, do they, Benedict?
You've hit the nail on the head. And the thing is, it's so bleeding obvious what has happened. It's so transparent that Jonathan Powell has been thrown a bone here by Steve Witkoff. Donald Trump, in his address to the Knesset, he thanked just about everybody he could think of who played a role in any of this. Every single official, every single country. He name-dropped the Arab states. All sorts of people were given the opportunity to have their little garland on behalf of the President of the United States. We were not mentioned by them, and as you say, Starmer was not mentioned by anybody in all of this. And you just think, if Witkoff had just said, I'd like to thank the UK delegation, the Foreign Office or whoever it is, because they've played a role as well, you might go, oh, okay, it seems maybe plausible. But it's the fact that he's gone, right, who's the guy who's really up against it at the moment? There's a scandal brewing around this guy and Chinese espionage, Jonathan Powell. So I'm very specifically going to mention him. And you think, oh, come on. If anything, I think it's probably done him more harm because everybody's now going, yeah, good one. Nobody's buying this at all.
Let me read. Let me just read something. By the way, did you see that Gianni Infantino, the head of FIFA, was on stage? That's apparently because the FIFA World Cup's in the United States next year, says Nathaniel. But listen, this is...
Oh, I thought this was because all of the terrorists were getting rehabilitated this week.
Oh, right, OK, fair enough. This is what I get the whole time. Jezza, this is from Danny in West Yorkshire. Starmer is the most pathetic, weak, feeble excuse of a Prime Minister. Every time I hear his voice, I have to mute your ruddy station. I cannot stand the fact that this man represents the United Kingdom. And I think you'll find that many, many people feel the same. And it just lurches from embarrassment to embarrassment. That's how it feels.
The thing is, and we do see this, it seems almost as though every Prime Minister we get is worse than the last one. And some people might say that that's recency bias and that everybody in the past seems better than they actually were. But actually, I do think it's a real reflection on the quality of our MPs, that it is generally getting worse and that therefore you get leaders who reflect that. The problem is, of course, where we're all currently sat, which is certainly within the Labour Party. Genuinely, who is there that's better than Keir Starmer? And this was the problem.
I'll tell you who the next leader of the Labour Party will be. 1,000,000%. It will be Shabana Mahmood. 1,000,000%.
I mean, the Labour Party has not yet selected a female leader, and I'm not sure if they're able to get over that. You know, as much as they like to talk about being progressives, actually the Labour Party is the biggest bastion of sexism, politically speaking, in this country. It simply isn't. It will give women every other role. It'll give them foreign secretary, it'll give them homes, it'll do everything else. It will not make them leader, though, because they can't. The old boys, and they are as much an old boy network as the Tories ever were, the old boys cannot stand the idea of passing off that kind of authority to a woman, partially because they have to sort of put up with the women who are already in the cabinet. And to be fair, if you had to sit next to Bridget Phillipson, maybe you'd be a little squeamish about making her leader as well.
When you talk about the quality of ex-prime ministers, I absolutely acknowledge that for many months on this station, before I found out the truth, I was a big supporter of Boris Johnson. Turns out that he was more left than any of us realised. He's jumped in this afternoon on Twitter, if you're just tuning in on Talk Drive, the home of free speech and common sense. How important a role did Keir Starmer play in the Middle East peace process? Boris Johnson. Keir Starmer's help in the ceasefire talks was about as impressive as a fart in a gale.
Well, that's perhaps not Boris's funniest line, but at least he's trying, I suppose. I suppose the thing is with Boris Johnson, because as we can all agree, he was sort of broadly pretty awful. But at the very least, Boris Johnson can stand up one thing, and that is that he was perhaps the most vociferous of any European leader, possibly any leader in the West, in the defence of Ukraine. Now, did that actually translate into tangible impacts? Was the UK able to back Ukraine like the US eventually was? No, because actually we'd managed to run all of our arsenals into the ground, because we're very badly run, including by people like Boris Johnson. But I tell you what, Boris Johnson was unequivocal in his support for Ukraine in a way that Starmer has really dithered about his position on Israel and Gaza.
Let's just talk about the one thing that this lot have gone mad. Mick from Blackpool, Jez, seriously, can you stop playing that bloody video of Starmer, because I've just had my dinner, my tea, and every time I hear it, I'm going to throw my tea up all over my trousers, and that's not a good look when I'm at home with my new shag pile carpet. Can I just talk about the other thing, because I mean, at home, there seems to be brewing an even bigger crisis for Keir Starmer, which is the Chinese spy trial cover-up. This is two men accused of spying for China, so much so that they were found with digital information and things that you can only get if you're a Chinese spy. CPS, big file, Tory party, ready to go. They get deselected, thrown out. Labour refusing to cooperate. Trial gets thrown out. Starmer the CPS go, this is the government's fault. They don't want to upset the Chinese. It's because it's worth a lot of money. Starmer's going, no. I mean, I know I used to run the CPS. This isn't my fault at all. This is you. You're incompetent. And I'm thinking to myself, Jesus, he really is copied it from every bleeding angle, isn't he?
He is. I mean, it's possible that both are true, but I do actually tend to believe the CPS.
Yes, and me.
It's one of those things where you got to think, well, you know, it's not really in their interests to lie about this, and it's entirely within the government. We do need to remember, though, that this isn't purely a Labour issue. This is a multi-government issue. This goes all the way back to Cameron and Osborne buttering up the Chinese, cozying up to Xi Jinping. Actually, Dominic Cummings, love him or loathe him, he has been talking about this for several years now, actually, the levels to which Chinese intelligence have managed to penetrate all levels of the British state, all levels of our security services, and the way that it is just not really being addressed. And this story, of course, has the potential to really shine a light on some of the things that have been going on and that are not in the public interest. And you understand why they're not in the public interest, because it's of great material embarrassment to the government. It has the ability to undermine our relationship with our allies, who might go, wow, these people are not trustworthy at all. But actually, as Mr. Cummings has been saying for a long time, it's at almost all levels that they've managed to infiltrate. And this sort of thing, therefore, has the potential to blow this whole thing wide open. And whilst we might be talking about it potentially bringing down a government, I don't think we're there yet. And I do think that this government is particularly shameless. There's an awful lot of former Conservative ministers that I suspect would want absolutely none of this to get out, because it's probably going to implicate a lot of them as well.
Very interesting. Before we let you go, slightly different, bit of a red herring. Thatcher would have been 100 years of age today. Just took part in Harry's Cole. We just Harry Cole's show. We recorded it for tonight, 10 o'clock. Harry Cole Saves the West. Interview with Sir Mark Thatcher. He hasn't done a big interview about his mother and what she would have made. Margaret Thatcher. Again, a bit like Trump, love her or hate her. Christ, did she have a pair of cojones. What would she have made of Donald Trump? What would she have made of Keir Starmer? What would she have made of Brexit? What would she have made of Nigel Farage? Because she'd have been out there getting it done. She wouldn't have been some wet lemon. I mean, Dave says, I thought John Major was boring, but Starmer brings it to a whole new level, doesn't he?
I think she would have barely registered Keir Starmer's existence.
Yes.
I think she'd have done a better job of Brexit than her successors did, frankly.
Do you think she'd have supported Brexit?
Oh, she would have supported Brexit, absolutely. She was a massive Eurosceptic by the end, having been very pro-European at the start. But
Built the Channel Tunnel, for God's sake.
She was very pro-European, and by the end, she was very Eurosceptic. I think she'd have probably dealt with the negotiations a lot better than Theresa May, but, you know, with no points crying over spilled milk. I think she would have got on really well with Donald Trump. I think she would have had him wrapped around her little finger. Famously, of course. She was very good with Reagan and with her Soviet counterparts.
But think about that, B. I was saying this to somebody earlier. The two most, however you dress this up, I would say the two most influential American presidents in the last 40 or 50 years were a retired movie actor and a realtor, billionaire from New York City. Maybe your point at the start of this conversation about the sorts of people that we have as MPs, the sorts of people that have run governments, maybe the truth is that the reform idea or anybody else's idea to actually bring people from different wafts of life who have got experience, maybe that's the answer, because those two are successful. And just to finish, whatever you think of Donald Trump, the man, this is legacy, isn't it?
I think that to bring it back to domestic politics, Reform have a once-in-a-generation opportunity to do something spectacular in sourcing people who are not party apparatchiks.
Yeah.
But the surprising thing is the Conservatives have the opportunity to do this as well. It's not going to happen with Labour. They're in power. Those MPs are dug in like ticks. But the Tories have undergone such a hollowing out of personnel at CCHQ, such a massive wipeout of MPs, that genuinely they also have the opportunity to go, what Reform are doing, we'll match it and we'll try and outdo it. There is the possibility here for a competitive arms race on the right of British politics to actually get in really good people in two parties. All it takes is one of them to grab hold of that opportunity. Wouldn't it be great if they both held each other to higher standards and went, we're going to try and one-up you to try and improve the standard of politics on the right? Couldn't
agree more. I quite like the rough look, Zelensky. We appreciate you being on. We don't know where you are, a bolt hole somewhere in the country. The legend that is Benedict Spence, 5:20. We're live across the UK. Coming next, a spokesman for the Embassy of Israel in the UK, Alex Gandler, is that right? Gandler is next on Talk Drive. Don't go anywhere.
It's not merely Israel and Hamas, but many other sides that had to be brought in, such as the support of Hamas and others like that, to get to this point where finally the one thing that we always knew would end the conflict in sort of a military sense, i.e. the return of the hostages, has happened. So, you're right to say we don't know quite how it's going to unfold from here, but for this particular part, he said from day one, the hostages are all coming back. All of them are coming back, and he's got them back. And it was he and his administration who'd made the difference.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Welcome back, 5:23. We're live across the United Kingdom. Talk, of course, the home of free speech and common sense, and it would be fair to say that we have been talking for 2 years about the horrors in the Middle East and the atrocities that took place on the 7th of October. We all know that the marches have started and all the hijackers have jumped on the back of, all this. We know that our own government decided to recognise Palestine and bend to this pressure of there's a genocide. But this station proudly has remained staunchly, from a Jewish point of view, honest and open. We're delighted to have Alex Gandler, spokesman for the Embassy of Israel in the UK. A good day, my friend.
Shalom. Hello. Very good day.
Very good day.
Excellent day, yeah.
I wanted to read to you, my friend, something that a good friend of mine, Dave, I've got many Jewish friends, but he said, before you go on air today, I just wanted to send you a thought, Jez. I've spoken to many Jewish friends and my parents, and every single one of them today has been glued to the coverage. Every one of us has spent this morning in tears at this exchange finally happening. This is one of the most emotional days as a Jew that I can ever remember. Trump, for all his failings, is a hero to Israelis and will be revered for this deal. Jez, it's been hard, really, really hard to be a Jew for the last few years, and the support of people at Talk, Mike, you, Julia and others, not only doesn't go unnoticed, but is accepted and taken with gratitude in a way that many cannot fully understand. I know you'll think this is a soppy message, mate, but I just wanted to say thank you. It's been hard for Jewish people, hasn't it?
First of all, I'll sign that message with my name on it. Absolutely. It has been hard to be Jewish, to be Israeli, to walk the streets, to go out on a London Saturday or a Sunday to these demonstrations, to see the hate on social media. It has been hard, and it will continue to be hard, because unfortunately it doesn't seem like it's stopping. We don't know why.
I get into a bit of trouble, Alex, not deliberately, because I'm quite forceful in what I think. I rail against any form of racism. Okay, but we're obsessed with only the colour of somebody's skin, it seems to me, in this country about racism. I will forever stand up and say that anti-Semitism is racism, and I would love the people that jump up and down and talk about Islamophobia, and quite rightly, people who are racist, who have no place in a dignified society, do not seem to associate the fact that anti-Semitism is such a horrible thing. I found myself at an airport the other day. I was telling the guys, and there was a traditional Jewish couple. And I found myself going up to this guy and saying, I'm really sorry, I just want to say I'm sorry. And he said, thank you. It embarrasses me about this country, to be fair. You have to walk the streets and see that. I have a friend whose kids can't even wear their jacket. They can't wear their blazers on the bus.
You know, a couple of days ago, I was sitting on the London tube with a friend of mine, an Israeli. We were just sitting on the tube, not wearing a suit, just normal people. We're speaking Hebrew. Someone across me on the tube took out a sign. Stop the genocide, and just sat there for 15 to 20 minutes in front of us, not knowing who we are, just the fact that we spoke Hebrew. Now, knowing who we are, I guess, it might have been interesting, but she didn't know.
What do you say to the people? And I wanted to ask you this, because you'd be okay with answering. When I see those marches, I saw one at the weekend, and I saw this, I guess she was about 70-year-old lady, and she had the Palestinian scarf on, and she was saying, this is not going to last. The Israelis will break this. They always have. They've illegally occupied our land for 80 years. For all the people who don't really understand the history, for all the people who jump on the bandwagon because it seems to be the thing that they should do without having knowledge of the facts. I can sit here and say it's the only democratically elected government in the Middle East. It's surrounded by countries who are run by terrorists funded by the mad mullahs of Iran. We all know that. Hezbollah, the Houthis, Hamas. What do you say to those people that march? What do you say as the spokesman for the Israeli embassy?
I say that they should have a good think about what they're doing now, because we have a ceasefire. Israel has withdrawn from Gaza, and it is allowing Gazans to live in peace. You know, just before walking in into the studio, I was going on, unfortunately, Twitter, cesspool. But what I saw on Twitter was Hamas executing Palestinians in the middle of Gaza. Gaza is back to its normal days. That's what I'm telling them.
We were saying some news earlier about how as they withdraw, they're apparently going for anybody that may or may not have collaborated. Do you believe that this peace deal will last?
I hope so. We're willing to make it last. We're willing to do everything it takes in order for it to last. The problem is we are currently facing a terrorist organization that is trying to play with us. They promised to, under phase 1, to release 20 live and 28 dead hostages. We have currently received 20 hostages who are alive, 2 who are dead, 2 others are coming, but suddenly they can't find the other ones.
This was reported in the news an hour or so ago. Donald Trump has taken a huge amount of credit. I presume he'll have some say over what you've just said. What's Israel's response to Donald Trump, the Israeli people?
We're thankful. I think it was shown today on all political spectrums in Israel, except a very tiny minority. People in Hostage Square were raising American flags, thanking President Trump. Our Knesset members, most of them, thanked him wholeheartedly.
He was shouted down by some hecklers, wasn't he?
Two of them, yes, from a communist Arab party that is in the Israeli parliament. The apartheid state that has communist Arab parties in it. So, yeah, we're very grateful to President Trump.
And I don't expect you to, well, you can say what you want. I'm delighted to have you on. It's a real pleasure. The United Kingdom. I'm embarrassed with our Prime Minister. He seems to think that he's made a major part in this peaceful process, although he stood up a couple of weeks ago and recognised Palestine, didn't ask the British electorate. How did that go down with the Israeli government and people?
Unfortunately, we don't agree on that fact. It's not a fact. Actually, we think that it might have hindered this hostage release, this peace deal. Hamas was emboldened. Hamas actually thanked the UK government. And that is terrible. You don't want to be on that side of history when Hamas, a terroristic organization, an Islamic extremist organization, is thanking you.
Listen, I'm 60 years of age and I've been around the block a long time, so I always get to say what I think. I was brought up to believe that you didn't negotiate with terrorists. I was on air on October the 7th when it happened, and I've seen the videos, and people can tell me all about the horrors of Gaza. Nobody likes to see what's happened, but when you are trying to destroy an ideology that has buried its truths below hospitals, below houses, below children's schools, and has been supported in doing so, then something unfortunately radical has to be done. The Second World War, the First World War were not nice things. Do you believe that Keir Starmer played a positive part in this?
I think the UK has a positive part to play maybe in the future. It hasn't done so yet, unfortunately, not in the last several months, not with recognizing a Palestinian state that has done nothing to help us, that has been giving a Palestinian state for beans, basically, instead of pressuring Hamas, pressuring the Palestinians to give back the hostages. What did we get? Nothing. Well, we needed President Trump to come in and help us achieve this deal. Unfortunately, the UK government was not helpful.
The UK government seems to be of the mindset, from what I can gather, that they try and be all things to all people, but America and Israel, staunch allies. And you said something that I picked up upon on one of the newscasts as well. You want to be on the right side of history, because I do believe that recognizing Palestine emboldened them. And actually, that's not a chilling message, but it's a reality for the Israeli government, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We felt Hamas emboldened, have a stronger stance once the UK and other countries recognized a Palestinian state. There was nothing for them, there was no reason for them to move forward. They waited for the international community to press Israel more and more instead of being pressed themselves. Why would they give up their trump cards the hostages, if they can do it with, you know, other governments pressuring Israel.
I'd listen more to your words than tweets that have come out. Just to go back to today, as a Jewish man, as an embassy spokesman, when you saw those images of those hostages, just life-changing, right?
We all shed a tear this morning. We all shed a tear. I actually almost shed a tear just sitting here outside the studio. I saw two brothers, the Horn brothers, who were separated. They were kidnapped, separated. One released 5 months ago, one was released today. And they hugged and they cried. And a father meeting his children after he hasn't seen them in 2 years. And a wife and a husband meeting after 2 years. 20 emotional moments for all of us. My wife today cried deeply at home. All Israelis in Israel and abroad, Jews in Israel and abroad, we all cried. It's a bittersweet day. We still have 28 hostages remaining. It's very important to remember this. 28 people deceased, but still in the bowels of Gaza. We have to get them out. This is not over for us. You saw people take this down. I'm not taking this down. I'm not taking this down until everyone...
If you're listening just on the radio, Alex is pointing at the yellow ribbon badge that he had. I wanted to ask you something, because I've tried really... Oh, actually, can you pass this on to Alex? Despite our government letting Israel down by legitimising a terrorist state, or what the hate marches are saying every week, the majority of the British public are 1,000,000% behind our Jewish friends and allies in the UK and Israel. It's an amazing day for you. Peace be with you, Jason in Pompey. Jez, can you please tell Alex that Starmer doesn't speak for me by recognising Palestine? It's a disgrace. We support Israel. I think you'll find, and I genuinely believe this to be truthful, I think you'll find that there is palpable anger in this country on many fronts about our government, but when that happened, that wasn't what the majority of people wanted. That was him placating. I know you have to go, my friend. It's an absolute pleasure to speak to you, and I hope that today is the beginning of peace. But as you quite rightly say, that the bodies of the deceased need to be brought home.
Yes.
You've gone to that negotiating table and made that agreement via Trump and everybody else, and let's hope that Hamas plays ball with that, because if they don't, the criticisms, you know, the how do you get rid of that ideology, what do you think will happen if they don't play ball, Alex?
Well, there are several more stages to this deal. We're only at stage one, and they're playing hard to get on stage one with the bodies at the moment. Stage two means disarming or de-arming. Talks about a force, the ISF, coming in, comprised of different states, the U.S., Arab states, Muslim states from around the region and around the world, to help Gaza rebuild. But that means Hamas must de-arm. And we've heard them say in the recent days that they're not willing to de-arm. And that is going to be a problem, because we need a safe Gaza for ourselves. We're not going through October 7th again, ever.
What do you make of Trump's comment when he said he'd like some sort of, you touched upon it there, a government, a committee that would run Gaza?
The Board of Peace.
What do you think of that?
Listen, it's a bold idea. It's something, we've been trying a lot of things throughout these last 77 years. Going for something, maybe some sort of mediation between us with people with experience, people that have a stake in the game as well, countries from around the region that have that stake. It's an interesting idea that we're wholeheartedly willing and wanting to try. Now, we need a partner for that, and we need the Palestinians to understand that if they want a better future, they need to embrace this deal.
Hopefully without Tony Blair. Final question about Benjamin Netanyahu. Not everybody's cup of tea, and I know there are many Israelis who have criticised him. Many across the world have criticised him. What's his future after this? Does it cement his legacy, or just hold time on him being judged by the Israeli people, in your mind?
Well, first of all, it shows you the robustness of the Israeli democratic system and political system. He's a politician in Israel, in a democratic country, a multi-party democratic country. We argue all the time. That is part of being Israelis. You probably have met Israelis, and that's what we do. So his future, first of all, he brought this peace by signing in with President Trump. And we'll see, this is an election year, 2026. So the Israelis will make their minds in the polls.
It's an absolute pleasure, and I hope, I know you've got so much to do today, but we're so grateful for you being here, and please feel free to come whenever. Alex Gandler, spokesman for the Israeli Embassy, thank you very much today on this historic day for the Israeli country, as Donald Trump announces to the lawmakers in Israel the long and painful nightmare is finally over. 20 hostages released by Hamas via the Red Cross. But as Alex Gandler just said there, spokesman for the Israeli Embassy in the UK, the remains of the remaining 28, Hamas still not providing those, despite today was the deadline. 19 more parts to this ceasefire. This isn't us being cynical. It's saying that we need to shine a light as a world on Hamas to make sure that this is done in the correct way. I would say this, though. I think Donald Trump has put so much into this. I think he would... I don't know how you put this politely. If anybody flakes against this, I think the force of America might come down. Alex, thank you very much indeed. This is Talk Drives, 22 minutes to 6 o'clock.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Welcome back. 19 minutes to 6. Oh, joy, my train's not working. Thank you to Alex Gandler. Amazing. Honest words from the spokesman for the Israeli Embassy in the United Kingdom. 0344 499 1000. Text to 87222. Margaret. Margaret, there he is again, trying to be front and centre, grandstanding, which he does so well. How has he got the brass neck to go to Egypt, Starmer? Mr. President, we salute you. Margaret's in Birmingham. Neil say, if Margaret Thatcher had been around today, Nigel Farage wouldn't have had to re-enter politics. I think you might be right. Kev, that praise for Powell today started with, this is true, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, I would like to acknowledge the vital role of the United Kingdom. He missed off the end of the tweet, but I can't. Jeremy, another Margaret, this one in North Yorkshire. Love the show. I felt Trump looked like as though he'd sucked a lemon when he saw Starmer heading towards him. Perhaps he feels as I do about this anadroidal halfwit who, together with his cabinet, is using up far too much of my oxygen. He's a stinky embarrassment pretending he's leading the whole show. Can someone stand him on a stage trap door and open it so he can damage us no longer? God, you don't like him, do you? Jez, please get a message to Starmer. Please don't have anything to do with Israel or Gaza. Nobody wants your useless help. And by the way, Keir, aid has been going into Gaza for months and months, so don't show you complete bloody ignorance. Sean, how can our PM be so embarrassing? He kissed the backside of the terrorists and looks as welcome as a fart in a spacesuit, says Sean in Cardiff. Steve's in East Yorkshire. All right, Stevie, at least this time around and on the world stage, our dear leader didn't refer to the sausages instead of the hostages. Do you know what, Steve in East Yorkshire? That's the best we can say. It's not great, is it? Jez, have you not heard? Oh, yeah, I have. Kevin in Stafford. The reason Gianni Infantino, the FIFA world president, is there is because there's going to be a World Cup. Pete's in Croydon. Jez, I don't want to see Lionel Blair anywhere near Gaza. Remember, he wanted to be the Queen of the EU and he wants to control us. He just wants to be relevant. True. The quote was the Labour Party are OK. What? No idea. Chalky in Market Drayton. Jez says, Hayley in Surrey. You have just shown the clip of Starmer burbling on. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I am convinced that he's an AI bot. He always talks in that monotone voice, expressionist with no feeling whatsoever. He is not human, he can't be. And only a bot will be able to stuff things up and not show any shame, whatever. Diabolical. Keep up the work. Good work. Talk, not him. Afternoon Jess says, Dino in Oxford. Am I the only one hoping Trump rips Rodney a new one? My God, I'd love to see him squirming before the world. The man is the biggest plank in the world. Dennis is in Manchester. Jez, I'd love it if Donald got to Egypt, pointed at Starmer, Macron and Carney and sent them off to the sidelines for causing more trouble than they were worth. It would be really funny to see a picture of Starmer trying to peek through the blinds to see what was going on. He might as well have been. Steve's in Leamington Spa. Is it just me or do you agree that the footage you've just shown re Keir Starmer appears to be dressed in mourning attire? Is it his own political funeral? Without hope, we have nothing or worse than two-tier Keir. And finally, Rich Dickinson. Jez, on the talks in Egypt today, could you ask the PM why the Union flag wasn't on show behind him, but the US flag was on show behind Trump? I would love to hear his pathetic reason and why. And Steve says, I've got an answer for all our problems. Let's withdraw the bugger's passport so he can't come back. 5:45 to the phone lines in London. Georgina! Hola.
Hello. What a wonderful day this is. This is an amazing day. And I think we should let Donald Trump bask in the glory of his historic peace agreement.
I agree.
He deserves that and so much more. He's achieved what the others thought was unachievable.
Oh, come on. Keir Starmer's done an awful lot towards it, love. Don't be unfair. Come on. List all the things that Keir Starmer's done. Recognising Palestine.
Well, I'm surprised that after the negative intervention of Keir Starmer and his left foot, David Lammy, by the recognition of a state of Palestine, that any hostages were left alive to return home to their families. But I'm delighted that Donald got the hostages home safely. I mean, you've got Donald Trump, Jez, who has secured the release of the hostages.
Yep.
And is well on his way to securing peace. And on the other end of the scale, you have Keir Starmer, who can't even stop pro-Palestine protests here in the UK.
And who doesn't even know how to say the word hostages. Please release the sausages. I mean, I make a joke of it because that just about sums up, I think, what we're thought of on the world stage. It's a bloody joke, man. I completely and utterly agree with you. I find it almost embarrassing. Not almost embarrassing. I get to the point where I don't want to discuss it anymore because it's so bloody embarrassing. But listen, Georgina, what's for tea?
Nothing at the moment because I've been too excited about what's been going on today.
Sorry. Get in the kitchen. Come on. People are hungry. Thank you so much indeed. We love you. Tony is in Doncaster. Hello, Tony. How are you, son?
I'm all right, Jeremy. I'm going to challenge you, and understandably, you're not going to like this. So
before you go any further, are you on speakerphone?
Yes. Shall I take it off?
Pick the phone up. Does nobody tell you these things? I can't hear a bloody thing, man. What's the matter with you?
1 minute.
Hello?
Is that better now?
It is indeed. Let's go to Steve in Doncaster. Steve, you're on Talk Drive. Good evening. Oh, sorry, Tony.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Right. Can you hear me now, Jeremy?
No, it's not great. Go on, crack on.
Right, OK. Basically, Jeremy, I'm just going to say this. I am pleased that the hostages have been released.
Yes.
I am totally against Hamas, but I do not understand our loving with the obsession with Israel. This country 42 years of the Falklands War, you had a situation where Israel was supplying Stinger missiles against our soldiers.
Yes.
Now, that's a fact, because you can check that with the MOD. We had a situation 3 weeks ago where the Israeli Prime Minister's cousin has also recognised the Falklands as the last Malvinas. And I just think today is not a day to be joyous, it's a day for sadness. You've had a lot of families in Israel that have gone through hell. You've had a lot of Palestinian people that have come home to a rubble. And not every one of them that's come home as terrorists.
No.
I'm on neither side. I'm on the side of English people. And you'll find through history that neither side of very patriotic towards Britain, which is where my life lies.
Mate, I couldn't agree more to a degree. I'm not going to disagree with you. I suppose there's joy that the hostages have been released. I will forever say I was on air when it happened on October the 7th. I know this is an issue that's gone on for 77 years. I've always believed a two-state solution is the answer. I didn't like it when Netanyahu said, you know, I need to eradicate Gazans or Gaza completely. But the issue that does need addressing is that terrorist organisations have surrounded Israel for 80 years. Something needs to be done for the people to live peacefully next door to each other. I don't know how or when that will happen, but I suppose from a personal point of view, I look at today and I go, at least it's a step in the right direction. Tony in Doncaster with the crap phone. Thank you very much indeed. It's 11 minutes to 6 o'clock. We're live across the UK. Jane Osborne, that Muppet is totally embarrassing. What the hell is he doing there? Making the bloody tea. She's talking about you, Ryan. Yeah? You or Starmer, I think you. Jez, I've just watched your showing of Starmer. My God, what a total embarrassment to the world, says John Croft. Paul says Starmer is the boring preacher from The Life of Brian. Do we remember The Life of Brian? Do we remember that? He's been a very naughty boy. He's not the Lord Christ. Go away, yeah. Right, listen, if you want to be on 0344 499 1000, in the next hour, by the way, we're going to talk about Margaret Thatcher. She'd have been 100 today. I'm going to teach Jodie and all those trendy lefties, if that woman had been alive today, this country would have been a fine, fine example. We'd have led the world and you'd have been back in bloody Liverpool. You would, yeah, joking. 0344 499 1000, text to 87222. Back in 3.
Is a ceasefire and it is not a peace deal. If Hamas indeed implements all of President Trump's plan, then there's a chance that it becomes a peace deal. But currently it's a ceasefire and a hostage release, which in itself is marvelous.
not merely Israel and Hamas, but many other sides that had to be brought in, such as the support of Hamas and others like that, to get to this point where finally the one thing that we always knew would end the conflict in sort of a military sense, i.e. the return of the hostages, has happened. So, you're right to say we don't know quite how it's going to unfold from here, but for this particular part, he said from day one, the hostages are all coming back. All of them are coming back, and he's got them back. And it was he and his administration who'd made the...
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
About 7 minutes to 7. We're going to do the sport, but we're keeping one eye on Sharm el-Sheikh, where Donald, the peacemaker Trump, is about to speak. I was just into the advert there, and I'd like to respect Kia, the motor vehicles. It says, movement that inspires. Kia. If you were tuning in, that's for a car, not for our embarrassment of a bloody Prime Minister. He doesn't inspire... Well, the only movement he inspires is my movement somewhere it shouldn't happen. Push the sport, and I bet you at any minute Donald Trump will. So let's try the sport. Ames, please.
Sports news from The Sun.
Mikey Anstead, a sports head of content, you are going to be cut any minute for Donald Trump. Are you all right with that?
It's not the first time. It's not the first time.
To be honest with you, nobody's given me any idea of what we're talking about on the sports today, so it's all yours. Go.
Let's talk about Donald Trump and the World Cup, if you like, and it segue beautifully into it.
What was Infantino doing on the stage in Sharm el-Sheikh?
Oh, Infantino's his absolute lapdog. He loves it. He's everywhere. He was second row of the inauguration, wasn't he? So
I don't know. I don't know what we're talking about now.
Infantino and Trump are big buddies now. Yeah, that's a lovely. That's a special relationship.
Come on, lead this, mate. I haven't got a sheet.
So look, if we're gonna move to Donald any moment, we've got some football tonight.
Yes.
Big night for Wales.
Are we putting it on my screen or not? It's not on my screen at all. Oh, there we are. Home nations eyeing World Cup tickets. Just a technical, bro.
Exactly. Wales got a big chance tonight, playing at home to Belgium. Tough game, but the Belgians
were rubbish against England.
Wales, they were absolutely rubbish, yeah. They were absolutely rubbish, so they need to raise their game. They've got Belgium. Win that, they've got a good chance of being in the mix for
I love it when the home nations get through there. Why want
well, we've got 64 teams in 2030, so if anyone doesn't get there, then you need to line up your excuses. So
I think that Tuchel or whatever his bleeding name is going to put his foot down even more. I think Bellingham and that lot are in for a bit of a hard thing because England looked all right the other night against Wales. Wales playing tonight. How was Scotland? They did all right. Steve Clarke was giving them grief, but they won.
Giving them grief, yeah. They won last night, guaranteed a playoff spot. They've got a big game against Denmark next month. That'll be the big one up at Hampden. So to win that, depending on results, they'll probably be there. So that'll be the first time Scots are at the World Cup since '98.
Republic of Ireland, any good?
Republic of Ireland struggling, but Northern Ireland played tonight home to Germany.
Achie.
I'll let you do that impression.
Do you know that a Northern Ireland accent's the only way you can tell if somebody... You can actually tell by a sneeze that somebody's from Northern Ireland because they go, achie. I just thought I'd drop that in. Jack Wilshere, who I count as a friend, I messaged him this morning, he messaged me back, brilliant. Today, taking the plunge, first managerial job with Luton Town. He is going to be a top manager, Jack Wilshere.
I think he's done well. He's learnt his trade.
Yep.
He's obviously had a good career with Arsenal, England. We won't mention West Ham because it didn't go so well there. But he's worked obviously under Wenger. He's worked with Arteta when he was.
He served his time, hasn't he? Under 18s at Arsenal. Went to Norwich as a first-team coach. I think had 2 games at the end of the season. Wasn't considered. Liam Manning, of course, going from Bristol City to Norwich, but Jack Wilshere starting off at Luton. I would think that's a good start, isn't it?
I think it's a good look. They were in the Premier League a couple of seasons ago. They're all the way down mid-table in League One now, so it's a good opportunity. He's not going to have a huge amount of focus on him.
Sorry, we've got Ryan being... He doesn't give me the sport, and then he's talking in my ear and giving me grief. He's a bit like Star. He's yapping away because he's a Watford fan. You know, Watford, who changed their manager this afternoon because he only started again yesterday. They hate Luton. Did you know that?
I'm well aware of that. I mean, Jack Wilshere will be the Watford manager in a couple of months, won't he, when they're sacked?
Probably. Isn't that the Watford team that have gone back to somebody they sacked before? What is going on at that ridiculous football club?
What are they on the 20th manager of the Pozzos? It's something like that, isn't it? Lost count.
It's like a Pozzo scheme. To be fair with you, I would much prefer Luton than Watford. I think Watford are not a very nice club, don't you agree?
It's an interesting rivalry. It's edgy.
Come on, Luton. Anyway, Jack Wilshere. What's this about Ian Botham? Sir Ian, Lord Beefy blasting England. Arrogant England? What's he saying?
Lord Botham, yeah. Look, the Ashes has come around quickly now. We're really only about a month or so away. So England are going out there and having one warm-up match, and that's against themselves. So they're playing against England.
Sorry, they're playing against... What?
England test team playing against the Lions, who are also over there.
Yeah.
So they're basically playing each other. Hello, how you doing? And he's making that point. It's like, well, where's the edge? Where's the rivalry? And you think you can go into that first test?
Sorry, how can you get... That's ridiculous. Who's made that decision?
Well, they're just trying to squeeze in. The cricket schedule is so tight. They've just gone out there. They're over in New Zealand at the moment. Going to head over to Australia.
Too much cricket.
One little game between themselves, and you think you're going to be ready for that first ball in the Ashes.
David Warner, that pain in the backside of an opening batsman who's retired now, predicts that Australia will win the Ashes 4-0 because England will only be concerned about a moral victory. What does that mean?
I think, yeah. I mean, Mr. Warner, you've got to be careful what comes out of his mouth because it's all. He's not going to.
Or what comes out of his pocket, which is sawdust to make the ball.
Exactly. He's not done the full Glenn McGrath, whitewash prediction though.
I'm going to have to stop you there because taking the stage, you are fantastic. Mike Anstey from The Sun. It's all in Sun Sport tomorrow. Taking the stage in Sharm el Sheikh, Mr. Peacemaker himself. Ladies and gentlemen, on Talk, I'll give you Donald Trump.
Well, thank you very much, and that was a great honor. I appreciate it very much, Mr. President, Mr. General, Mr. President, great General, great President. Thank you very much. This is the day that people across the region and around the world have been working, striving, hoping, and praying for. They have done things over the last month that I think were really unthinkable. Nobody thought this could happen. With the historic agreement, we, sadly to say, bodies. Together we've achieved what everybody said was impossible. At long last, we have peace in the Middle East, and it's a very simple expression, peace in the Middle East, and we've heard it for many years, but nobody thought it could ever get there, and now what everybody said was impossible. At long last, we have peace in the Middle East, and it's a very simple expression, peace in the Middle East, and we've heard it for many years, but nobody thought it could ever get there, and now we're there. I want to congratulate everybody sitting in these first few rows and standing behind me. I don't know why they chose to stand, but I promise I'll make it short, okay? We are not going to keep you standing for long. These are great leaders. After years of suffering and bloodshed, the war in Gaza is over. Humanitarian aid is now pouring in, including hundreds of truckloads of food, medical equipment, and other supplies, much of it paid for by people in this room. Civilians are returning to their homes. The hostages are reuniting. I mean, it's beautiful. I'm just watching it backstage. The level of love and sorrow, I've never seen anything like it. It's amazing when you see they haven't seen their mother, their father. They haven't seen them in such a long time, and they lived in a tunnel, a very little tunnel, very deep, and the level of love is just incredible. It's a beautiful thing to see. It's, in one sense, it's so horrible that it could have taken place, but in another sense, it's so beautiful to see. A new and beautiful day is rising, and now the rebuilding begins. The rebuilding is maybe going to be the easiest part. I think we've done a lot of the hardest part, because the rest comes together. We all know how to rebuild, and we know how to build better than anybody in the world. I want to express my tremendous gratitude to the Arab and Muslim nations who helped make this incredible breakthrough possible. And you really did. To President El-Sisi of Egypt, who is so generously hosting us today. And I want to thank you for the outstanding job your country is doing in so many different ways and for helping us so much with this peace agreement. I also want to thank the President for the escort of 6 fighter jets. Oh, we looked out the window, we said, I hope they're friendly, and they turned out to be very friendly. But we had 3 on each side, and they are beauties right out of the great, really American manufacturing hub. We make the greatest military equipment in the world. We have the strongest military in the world by far. And I knew exactly what those planes were, and I knew exactly how much you paid for those planes, too. You paid a lot, but you got a pretty good deal. And they are great planes, and we just appreciate it. That was quite an escort in. It was very impressive. But Air Force One was really, it was covered with Egyptian desert just a few months ago. If you think about it, just a few months ago it was Egyptian desert, and now it was just a few feet off our window. And it was a spectacular sight, and I appreciate it very much. Really, that was pretty good. You got our people by surprise. I don't know if they were thrilled right at the beginning, but they were thrilled as we sailed along very very calmly and safely. And I'm deeply honored to receive from you, Egypt's highest state honor, the Order of the Nile. The Nile is so beautiful, so magnificent. It's such a beautiful title, the Order of the Nile. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Appreciate it. Great honor. I also want to give a very special thanks to the Emir of Qatar, a man who's outstanding. He's been a friend of mine for a long time, long before politics, and he's a fantastically respected man. His Highness Sheikh Tamim is respected by everybody. He's respected by everybody, and in the most positive way, not only because of power, because of his heart. He's got a tremendous heart, and he's a great leader, and his country loves him. Thank you very much for being here. It's an honor. Let me also express our condolences to the Qataris on the tragic car crash that claimed the lives of your cherished diplomats, some of whom were known by our people, and they were supposed to be incredible people. So please extend our sorrow and best wishes. That was tough. That was really tough. On this extraordinary occasion, I also want to give our sincere thanks to President Erdogan of Turkey. He's always there when I need him. He's such a tough guy. He is tough as you can be, but we love him. And when they have a problem with you, they always call me to handle it. And usually I come through. We just have a good relationship, but we have from the beginning. And so I want to thank you very much and say hello to your wife, your beautiful wife. And it's great to be with you. Always there. When I need him, he's always there. Thank you very much, Mr. President. And I also want to thank, I just spoke to him on the phone, His Royal Highness Crown Prince Mohammed, Saudi Arabia, a special friend of mine. Boy, he's come so long and so far, and he's doing a fantastic job for his country. And I want to just thank him. And His Highness Sheikh Mohammed of the United Arab Emirates is here. Where? He's here someplace. Well, he's not here, but he's here in spirit, I can tell you that. And he's been another one. He's been absolutely incredible, and we appreciate it very much. And His Majesty King Abdullah of Jordan, and thank you very much, King Abdul of Jordan. He's here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. And you really have been a great helper. We appreciate it. Appreciate it. Prime Minister Sharif of Pakistan, and also I have to say my favorite field marshal from Pakistan, who's not here, but the Prime Minister is here, and you're going to give his regards. Where are you? There you go. Thank you very much. Do you want to say what you said to me the other day? Come, would you like to say what you said the other day? I think it was so nice.
The Pakistani leader's now coming to the podium. Donald's just
Thank you very
like
much.
Accepting an award. Here we
My
go.
dear President Trump.
Oh.
My dear brother, President Fadil Sisi of Egypt. Majesties, Highnesses, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum, and a very good evening.
Who is this? This is the President of
Well, I would say
we're in the middle of Trump now. We've got the President.
today is one of the greatest days in contemporary history.
It's true. If you look
because
on YouTube, Starmer's at the side, looking very awkward.
Has been achieved after untiring
Trump
efforts.
talks about him.
Efforts led by President Trump, who is genuinely a man of peace,
right next to Trump. He is a man of peace.
who has relentlessly and untiringly worked throughout these months, day in and day out, to make this world a place
Trump's looking over
to
his
live
shoulder if you're not watching
with
this on
peace
YouTube. It's
and
brilliant.
prosperity.
Make sure you say good things now.
I would say that Pakistan had nominated President Donald Trump for Nobel Peace Prize
Now this is contentious.
for his outstanding, extraordinary contributions
I wish you could see
to
Starmer.
first stop war between
Are the sausages
India and
out yet?
Pakistan.
I don't know. Have the sausages
then
been released? Hello?
Ceasefire along with his
Why am I
very
here?
wonderful team.
Look at him, look. Jealous.
And today, again, I would like to nominate this great president.
He hasn't won it, mate. It's another year. Oh, God. He's been nominated again.
Because I genuinely feel that he is the most
Here's the
genuine
question, peeps.
and most
Is he going to make Starmer come forward
wonderful
and speak without a
candidate
script? That
for
will ruin him
Peace
forever
Prize
on the world
because
stage.
he has
Yes.
brought not only peace in South Asia, saved millions of people, their lives.
Yes.
And today, here in
George has just
Sharm el
stifled a
Sheikh,
yawn. She's got a hand over her mouth.
achieving peace in Gaza is saving millions of lives in the Middle East.
Yes.
Mr. President, I would like to salute you
Oh, lovely.
for your exemplary leadership, visionary leadership.
This is the president
And
of
I
Pakistan
think
paying homage.
that you're the man
You're the
this
man.
world needed most at this point in time. World
Get off now.
would
Come on.
always remember you
Please
as a
bring
man
me Starmer.
who did everything, went
He
out
did.
of the way to stop 7 and today 8 wars. I would like to thank my very dear brother, Sheikh Tamim. He's Akh al-Shakik, who has really worked very hard along with others to achieve peace in this
We're only
region.
staying with this
My
because
very
Donald
dear
Trump's
brother,
going to come back and we're desperate
President
to see
Tayyip
whether he
Erdogan,
has- Shut up, man. Get off now.
His
He's going
Majesty,
to ask Keir Starmer to speak. No, Starmer's
King
looking-
Abdullah,
What time
and
are we
of course my very dear brother, Mohammed bin Zayed of UAE.
No, they haven't left
and
my
of
microphone
course my
open
very
by
dear
accident. I know
brother,
it's open if you're thinking what's happened to
Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia.
Oh, we're thanking the Saudis
And
now.
he has also been very, very helpful and
dear, Starmer, don't scratch your
contributed
bits
very
in front of
valuably in this wonderful peace process. Ladies and gentlemen, I wouldn't want to take more of your
Tango
time.
and Wiltshire goes, "What the hell is
Suffice
Starmer
to say,
doing on that stage?"
had it not been for this gentleman,
Yes, I
not
know
only,
you can hear me on YouTube,
who knows,
Becky, I'm speaking
India and Pakistan are both
I know my
nuclear
mic's hot.
powers.
It's fine.
Had he not intervened along with his wonderful team, during those 4 days, the war could have escalated to a level. Who would have lived to tell what happened? And
Jack
similarly,
from Andover.
here in this part of the world, in the Middle East, Mr. President, your
Seriously, you're done now, Mr. Pakistan. Come
valuable
on.
contribution along with President
It's fine.
Sisi.
Betty,
I
I know
think
you can hear me on YouTube. What is
history
wrong with
will
you people?
remember
I know
in
the
golden
microphone's
words.
open.
I wouldn't say more.
Oh, Jez's microphone's hot. I thought you said
God
I was
bless
hot.
you.
Right,
God
thank
give
you.
you long life.
Well done.
To serve like this
Oh,
for
I
all
hope
time
he's
to come.
please ask
Thank you
Starmer.
very much.
Well done, the President of Pakistan. Fantastic. Donald, back to the podium.
I just want to see whether we ask Starmer. Would you like to say a few words? I'm delighted that the sausages have been released.
Well, I didn't expect that.
Well, you did. You
Let's
asked him
go
to do
home.
it.
There's nothing more I have to say.
Oh.
Goodbye, everybody. That was really beautiful and beautifully delivered. Well, thank you very much. Also with us is President Prabowo, a very incredible man of Indonesia. President.
Where have we fallen, Great Britain? We're behind Indonesia. Starmer's now looking even. Oh, he's off now to find the Indonesian bloke. This is comedy. Let's drag him up and say a few words.
President Abbas of the Palestinian Authority. See,
Oh.
we have them all. We have them all.
Oh, so they've actually thanked Palestine before Great
Great.
Britain. Brilliant. Gets
Good to
better.
have you. And so many others. I really have a list here. This first 3 rows and what's standing behind me, I don't know why they chose to stand, but that's there.
Look, Starmer,
They're going to be
please say
very
me.
famous
Got a piece
tomorrow.
of
all of
paper
them.
now, Donald. Here we go.
We have the Arab League is
She's
represented by His Excellency, and thank you very much
Yeah.
for.
He's going to
being
thank
here.
my
Thank
wife
you
in a
very
minute before he thanks Starmer.
We have Armenia.
Yeah.
Oh.
Armenia.
Azerbaijan.
Oh, Azerbaijan.
That's a little war that we stopped. That's a little war. There they are. Look
Do you
at them.
think they're doing it
When I met with
alphabetically?
them,
The United Kingdom is
it was in the
definitely
Oval
going to come
Office.
last.
They fought for like 31 years or some crazy number.
Oh, God.
And they had one sitting on that side of the Oval Office, one sitting. By the time we finished in 1 hour, they were both hugging each other. And now they're friends and they're getting along great. Look at it. So I want to thank you both. That's incredible, really. Incredible.
Sorry, this is brilliant.
So you have Armenia and you have Bahrain, you have Canada. It's so great to have, in fact,
it's brilliant.
President called and he wanted to know if it's worthwhile. He knew exactly what it was. He knew the importance.
Trump, I tell you honestly, Starmer looks like a schoolboy who's wondering he's going to win a prize at Prize Day. It's brilliant.
He knew the importance of this. He said, I want to be there. So many people have done that. They called. I mean, they heard about it. And these are not people that can do that very easily. They have pretty big schedules to put it in mind. The most powerful people. And I appreciate you being here very much, Mr. President. Fantastic. Fantastic. And Cyprus.
Oh, Cyprus. Egypt.
The European Union.
Oh.
It's a lot of countries. France. Oh. Thank you very much, Emmanuel.
Here we go.
I would imagine Emmanuel standing someplace behind me. Where is he? Yeah. I can't believe it. You're taking a low-key approach today. He's my friend. That's great. Good job. Thank you very much, Emmanuel.
Okay.
Germany, the new Chancellor of Germany he's easy to spot because he's very tall.
He's behind you.
He's very smart, and he's doing a fantastic job for his country. Appreciate it very much. And congratulations, a big election. That was a big one. That was going to change things. Greece, we have Greece.
Oh, God.
We have Hungary.
Oh.
Oh, Victor, where is Victor? Victor.
Getting angry
we
now.
love Victor. Victor, I call him. You know, I put the little accent on it. You are fantastic, all right? I know a lot of people don't agree with me, but I'm the only one that matters. You are fantastic. He's a great leader. I endorsed him the last election he had, and he won by 28 points.
Oh, this is
so you're going to do even better this time. If you have another election, and you're going to do great, and we appreciate it. And we're behind you 100%. That's Hungary. India.
Oh, India
is a great country with a very good friend of mine at the top, and he's just done a fantastic job. And I think that Pakistan and India are going to live very nicely together.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's not a very... They are.
Oh.
And they're two great, I tell you, leaders, great leaders, as far as I'm concerned.
United Kingdom? No.
Indonesia, we covered, and I just want to say that that's a big country, a powerful country. It does unbelievably well, and it's great to have you. Iraq, we have Iraq.
We're behind Iraq.
Lots of oil. They have so much oil, they don't know what to do with it. That's a big problem when you have so much, you have no idea what to do with it.
It's alphabetical.
So thank you very much for.
But I don't think he knows the alphabet.
Italy.
Oh, Italy.
We have a woman, a young woman who's...
oh, here we go.
I'm not allowed to say it because usually it's the end of your political career if you say it. She's a beautiful young woman. Now, if you use the word beautiful in the United States about a woman, that's the end of your political career. But I'll take my chances. Where is she? There she is.
She's behind you.
You don't mind being called beautiful, right? Because you are. Thank you very much.
You're very beautiful, you are.
Appreciate it. She wanted to be here, and she's incredible. And they
boring
really
his eyes into Trump.
In Italy, she's a very successful politician. We have Norway. Oh, Norway. Norway. What happened, Norway? What happened?
Look at Starmer.
Oh, where's Norway? Where is he? We have Johnny.
Oh, Johnny from Norway. He's doing well.
Where's Norway? I don't think he wants to stand. Oh, he's back there. Well, we have Norway. Oman. Again. We have Paraguay.
Portugal next.
We have really fantastic representative from Saudi Arabia.
Oh,
thank you very much.
Oh.
I'll tell you what, and this time we'll get you the best seat. He always gets the best seat. He deserves the best seat. But what a great place it is. Spain.
Oh, Spain.
Where's Spain?
It's just next to Portugal, mate.
Are you guys working on him with respect to the GDP? We'll get close. But fantastic job you're doing. And UAE.
Oh, UAE.
Which is great.
We're next.
United Kingdom. Where's United Kingdom?
Behind you.
Where?
Oh, I'm here. Oh, there you are.
Very good.
Oh, Keir's coming forward.
People all came in like 20-minute notice.
Oh, he's come up to speak and Trump
and we have
sent
so
him
many
away.
others, and just so many others. And it's such a compliment to what we're doing, because what we've done is something very unique and very special. So it's perhaps the wealthiest and most powerful.
Right, cut him now. Cut that. Just stop Trump now. I had to wait for that, people. Honestly, can you please cut that? He waited 15 minutes, Keir Starmer, to be mentioned. And as Trump stood right behind Trump, and he goes, "Where is he?" So he turns around and Starmer walks to the lectern and Trump looks at him and sort of, "Go away," trying to keep speaking. Starmer looks now as if somebody's put something very disgusting under his nose. That was Donald Trump in shambles shape. Let's make it more serious. Let's go to a former US diplomat, foreign policy advisor for the Republican leadership in the US Senate, good friend of the show, Jim Jatras. Jim, good afternoon. How are you, sir?
Jeremy, I just love these reality TV shows. You know, next time we should do like live commentary, like Mystery Science 3000 or something.
Mate, I'm on a mission.
It's beautiful, beautiful.
Well, listen,
I love it.
I'm on a mission. No, I'm not on a mission. I'm just trying to be honest about how ridiculous our bloody Prime Minister looked. Did you see? Took 17 minutes. We were beaten by Iraq, Iran and Indonesia, and then Starmer came forward. I want to start, actually, differently with you, Jim. I think a lot has been said today about Donald Trump. I was talking before I came on air. The man is vilified by certain people. He's held in great esteem. Irrespective of where one stands on Donald Trump, he will have an unbelievable legacy. And what he's done, considering he's a realtor from New York City, I think is utterly, utterly astonishing. And I would just add this caveat. You only have to look at all these leaders. I mean, he is the main man. They dance to his tune, don't they, Jim?
They do. But will you entertain a dissenting point of view? Mr. Mitsotakis, Miss Maloney. I mean, these are not real world leaders. They don't represent much of anything. It's a nice reality show. It's been a good. Frankly, I'm surprised that they've gotten to this stage on the Gaza deal. There's a lot to slip between the cup and the lip so far. So let's not declare mission accomplished quite yet.
No, I agree with that. And I've said it all afternoon. There's two ways of looking at it. Certainly the job isn't over. There was problems already. We heard from a spokesman who came in from the Israeli embassy who said that the remains of the remaining 28 haven't been released. There's much cynicism about Hamas. There's the de-arming stage, disarmament, which is the second one, okay, the second stage of 20. But I think what I'm trying to say at this point is, and I completely get you, I mean, apart from there's one or two leaders, the man, love him or loathe him, exudes confidence and power and decision-making. And you know, I'm talking to you as an Englishman. I look at what I've got on stage there, and honestly, honestly, just a drip, man. And it does my head in. We've had a big debate in this country. I mean, he's been telling us all how central he's been to it. I mean, what a load of old rubbish that is. Can I ask you from an American point of view, does Donald Trump's success to this stage, and it is only a stage, Jim, does it surprise you? Has it surprised Americans? Is he going to get the credit he deserves for getting to this point, do you think?
I think it'll largely depend on how it all turns out. In other words, the gentleman from Pakistan nominated for next year's Nobel Peace Prize. There's a lot that can happen between now and next year. If he stays on this high point the way it looks right now, sure, it looks very good. In terms of domestic politics, I'm not sure how much it's really going to swing the dial between a very polarized country, between, you know, Trump derangement syndrome haters and Trump, you know, worshippers. That's not going to change all that much, I don't think.
But is it fair to say, because we have a situation in this country, all joking apart, where we have a government that is probably the least popular government ever, and that's quite an achievement when you consider what was on before. Yeah. And you know, Reform, a party in the United Kingdom with Nigel Farage at the forefront, is gaining real traction and real interest. And of course, the left are saying this, it's far right, it's outrageous, it's Trump-esque, these people don't care, it's just all about, you know, sound bites, etc., etc. Other people are saying, hold on a second, a bit like they do in America. We've had enough of politicians just say one thing and do the absolute opposite. We want somebody who puts their thoughts and their feelings down and actually bloody well does what they're going to say. Do you see similarities? When you look at Starmer on stage there and you consider the leader that you've got, you'd understand our frustration, wouldn't you, in this country?
Absolutely. Well, there's a little bit of difference. In the United States, it's still largely a political polarization, and it's largely a Trump polarization at this point. I think in Britain, and especially in England, it's more of like, are you for Britain? Are you for England? Raise the flag. Or are you for what people like Starmer, or for that matter, what his Tory predecessors did to destroy your country? And it's more of a national question, it seems to me, for you, whereas here it's still more of a political question, although lurking under that is also a national question.
But I think what's really interesting, and you touch upon something as an American, which I find fascinating, because so many of us who criticise this current government don't think that they are, well, hadn't planned anything, but are not necessarily proud of Britain or keen on Britain or wanting to shout Britain from the rooftops. The one thing that you get, be a MAGA fan or not, is he always said, I'll put America first. And I mean, somebody gave me some figures the other day, Jim, right, about the border crisis. And I think May, June and July 2024, nearly 400,000 people came through. Whether you agree or disagree with his deportation policy, less than 500 came 12 months later. I mean, in this country, thousands every single day, and apparently politicians who just don't have the cojones to say, I might be unpopular, but I'm going to do it. So I get that there's division, and I get there's a sort of line in America, but my God, I have to tell you, lots of people in this country, millions, would crave that, to actually, as I said, have somebody who could effect change or do what they say they're going to do.
Absolutely, Jeremy. And look, and I do give Trump a lot of credit for that, for closing the border. Actually, the deportations have not really been all that dramatically increased compared to previous administrations, but definitely the border. That's a very big plus. And what is the excuse in Great Britain? After all, you guys are an island. It should be a hell of a lot easier for you to close off your borders than it is for us with this, 1,000 miles plus border. We do that. You guys on an island can't do it. Just means you have a very, very bad government that doesn't want to stop these people coming in.
And the difference now for us, of course, is that this has gone on for a long, long time. We've always been, the moral leaders along with yourselves, and we've always tried to do the right thing. People hate me when I say this, but I don't care. Now your indigenous population is struggling. The silent majority are saying, hold on a second, I'm missing out. My electricity bills are 3 times more. My food bill is grocery store is 3 times more. The truth is now all of a sudden we can't even afford the debt on our interest, okay, and the interest on our debt, and so we can't be like this anymore. And we have a government. I mean, I've said it till I'm blue in the face. I believe that the reason that we're in trouble is because the pull to come to Britain, and I guess it was the same in the States. The pull is so great, okay. The pull is so great, but when the pull to people who shouldn't be here is greater than providing for those that have paid the tax, then you've got real issues, Jim. Can I just ask you about Donald Trump? I mean, I'm going to compliment him for a minute. 76 years of age, tirelessly doing this. I know it's all about legacy, but it's some pretty bloody impressive achievement to this date, isn't it?
I think it is. I'm glad you mentioned his age, because I think there are current concerns, growing concerns about the state of his health, about whether he can finish out this term. I don't know how severe that is. I mean, there's a lot of speculation about that. But, so far so good. And look, it's certainly been a lot more dramatic than it was during this first term, where I guess there's a little bit of on-the-job training that takes place even when you're president.
Do you know what? Do you know what? Actually, do you know what? I'm so glad you said that. I remember when he was elected the first time, it was almost an even bigger shock, right? And people seem to come and go. And one of the things that really grates those of us in the United Kingdom who are not Labour supporters, that's about 99% of the country right now, is that they talked in great detail, Jim, about having this the first 100 days, a bit like Trump, will hit the ground running. They had a lady called Sue Gray who'd written everything. She didn't even last 100 days, and it turned out that actually everything they'd said wasn't in what they were going to do, and all the stuff that they were going to do, they promised they wouldn't. And I go back to it. I absolutely go back to it. You need a plan, but most of all, you need to have the courage of your convictions. And love him or loathe him with Donald Trump, and you see it today, he's got the courage of his convictions, hasn't he?
Yeah, and that's what I think really resonates with a lot of the American public. The ones who love him, they see him as kind of an avatar of themselves. He is what America is in their traditional understanding of that. And that's, by the way, precisely why people on, I don't want to talk exclusively left-right, but people on the left hate him, because he represents that old America they would like to put dead and buried in the grave, and we ain't quite dead yet.
Jim, such a pleasure. Sorry we had to keep you hanging on there, my friend. Great to have you on. Jim Jatras, former US diplomat and foreign policy advisor for the Republican leadership in the US Senate. I'm going to an ad break. I want to know what you thought. Starmer has now got his arms crossed, right? He's looking angry because Trump is still talking. He did get a mention. There is a clip which I'm going to play, which is going to go bloody viral, and I know Mike will play it in the morning. This is basically 17 minutes Starmer waited for a mention. When he got it, he idly walked up to the stage, expecting the American president to say, "You can speak." And he basically told him to do one. Have a watch. This is absolutely brilliant. See you in 3.
Everywhere, people are taking to the streets and they're so relieved and happy to see their brothers brought back home from Hamas captivity. So there's lots of hope. The realists in the crowd know that this currently is a ceasefire and it is not a peace deal. If Hamas indeed implements all of President Trump's plan, then there's a chance that it becomes a peace deal. But currently it's a ceasefire and a hostage release, which in itself is marvelous.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Welcome back, 6:30. I'll have to admit, I pushed the wrong button. Right, so we have been watching this... just happened well in the break as well. So Donald Trump, peacemaker extraordinaire. We don't know what's going to happen in the future, but big day for him. Sharm el-Sheikh, all the leaders, earlier on the show, basically stood there and they all come forward, right? We've had Indonesia, Iceland, Reykjavik, everywhere, McDonald's, and eventually, bloke from FA, eventually Starmer comes forward. Very nice. Bugger off. And then they're all brought on stage and he starts speaking, right? And he's basically thanking everybody. And it goes on and on and on. And Starmer is getting more and more arsey, right? And eventually he calls the the smile lights up on Starmer's face. And Trump completely snubs him. Have a watch, have a listen. This is comedy gold.
United Kingdom. Where's United Kingdom? Where's our friend? Where? Come here. Is everything going good? Very good. It's very nice that you're here. These people all came in like 20-minute notice, and I think it's fantastic.
Oh, it's classic. So he's come up, Starmer, fully expecting, like the president of Pakistan could, to have a chat. Stands next to him, Donald, can I speak? No, bugger off and stand at the back. And even worse, right, even worse than that, now he's smiling because he had his moment, during the break, right, everybody left and Starmer stood there like a little schoolboy and said, hello, was like, oh, we're doing it again, we're playing it again, look, yes, lovely, now, bugger off, go and stand back down. Look at Starmer's face. Oh, naughty boy. Naughty, naughty Prime Minister. 03244 499 1000. Just can't stop laughing. Our Prime Minister tried to take the mic on a karaoke night and Trump is saying, I will survive as long as you're not on my side. Our plastic pretend Prime Minister, I can't stop laughing. All hail the numpty leader Starmer from long-suffering Donna in Birmingham. Terry, how utterly delicious was that with Starmer? Pure comedy gold. So much for Bridget Phillipson saying how the UK contributed in getting the hostages freed, as though the UK was a key player in this. Don't you just love Trump? Terry's embarrassed. He just said that is the biggest put down you'll ever see. Jez, who's controlling Starmer? It looks like a robot. Press 1 to move arms, press 2 to move head, press 3 to move legs, and don't forget to look a fool in front of the whole world. Will he get the message? Honestly, if you haven't watched this, Mike, I'm going to play it. Can you just play it again? He waits 20 minutes for Donald Trump to mention his name like a little schoolboy, and he calls him out, where are you? So he goes up to Trump, just watch this, and then Trump just disses him, play it again.
United Kingdom, where's United Kingdom? Where's our friend? Where? Come here. Is everything going good? Very good. That's very nice of you here. These people all came in like 20-minute notice. And I think it's fantastic.
Oh, it's brilliant. Oh, my God. Jez Starmer stood for 20 minutes with his clenched buttocks, then stepped up to the mic, only to be shouldered out of the way by the Donald. Comedy gold, says Don. Talk. Great show, Jez. That's the closest I've seen to a televised smacked bottom. Starmer makes us look more ridiculous by the bleeding day. Jez, Sir Keith went all the way to Turkey and got a Trump Sharma no-shake special. That has made 2025 much better, says Kristen Newbury. Richard, just clapped before you, Jez. Sent away. Brilliant, the little weasel. Don't know how the hypocrite can stand there with all backstabbing he did and name-calling before Trump got it. It's actually laughable. Starmer, pathetic, irrelevant donut. Jason in Pompey. Starmer, pick me, just brilliant from Trump. Ha-ha, oh, the humiliation. That's even better than stupid Lammy getting booed. Rob, Trump is a legend and treated Starmer exactly how he should be by shunning him. Betty, what a dig. 20 minutes notice and that's all you got. Brilliant. John Reimer does it. How rude of Starmer chattering to the president of Pakistan while the Donald was speaking. Gav from Spain. This is like watching the Eurovision Song Contest with the UK, as usual, coming last. John Croft, listening to Trump's speech in Egypt, it's hard to hear how the day is taking the toll on him. He needs to take care of himself. Molly, looking at Trump's speech, it looks like Starmer's messed his pants by the look on his face. It would make me laugh if I didn't hate him so much. Let's go to the phone lines. We'll go to, I don't know where. Scotland. David, you're on Talk Drive. Good evening. How are you?
Sorry, you've just stole all my comedy gold lines that I was actually going to speak.
Oh.
That was just comedy gold.
If I am saying this to the UK, if you have not seen this and you haven't got YouTube, please, you're going to put it out on Talk. It is absolutely, no, but if they haven't got YouTube, put it out somewhere. We'll play it again in a minute, but honestly, it is just the biggest humiliation. Oh, here we go, we're doing it again. Go on, let's play it. No, we're not, no, without any sound. Oh, here I am. Oh, yes, here he is. Come forward, there's a good boy, well done. And bugger off, you're not being given the microphone. David, it's classic, isn't it?
Oh, honestly, I mean, how are you going to do Plank of the Week now? Because it's obviously...
I mean, there's no point in doing Plank of the Week this week now. I mean, it's like when he came over to England. I don't know if people remember it. He was stood with Trump and Trump dropped some papers in the wind and Starmer was on his knees picking them up. And I keep thinking to myself, you know, I hated Jeremy Corbyn. I wouldn't agree with anything that Jeremy Corbyn ever said. But at least the man had the courage to stand by his convictions. Look at this weasel. If you saw this, people, please go and find this. He looks utterly humiliated. It's made my entire day. I'm so happy. David, you're a top man. Thank you very much indeed. If you want to be on 0344 499 1000, you can get us via WhatsApp on that same number. Just leave a voice note. Just give you 20 minutes. What's the best thing about Keir Starmer? Not a lot. 0344 499 1000. Text to 87222. Back in 3.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Absolutely crazy. Can somebody send it to Mikey, please, for the morning? Chris, that was so funny when Starmer walked up and got pushed back. His face made me laugh so much, and Trump kept turning round, and when mentioned him, asked... Here's the thing that's just been pointed out to me by Ryan. He absolutely knew Starmer was behind him because the president of Pakistan, who he called up for this long speech, was stood right next to Starmer, and he turned round. So this is all an act, right? This is all to put Starmer in his place. I'm really sorry. John Lucas, the night news editor of the Sun, is here. Have you seen this?
I just caught a bit of it, but...
Mate, this is comedy gold. 17 minutes Starmer stood there whilst he thanks Indonesia, Iraq, Iran, the Faroe Islands, the local Icelands, his golf college, anywhere, everything, right? And eventually, he's like a boy that gets sweet, big smile. He mentioned the UK. Watch this. If you haven't, get YouTube. Watch this now. This is brilliant.
United Kingdom. Where's United Kingdom? Where's our friend? Where? Come here. Is everything going good? Very good. That's very nice of you here. These people all came in like 20-minute notice, and I think it's fantastic.
Have you ever seen anything? That's humiliating, right?
Is cringeworthy.
Trump said, "Where is the UK?" And Stroppy Starmer replied, "Behind you." What a massive plank. Maloney laughing at the end. Maloney's laughing because Trump said, "You're a beautiful woman. You're a beautiful woman." Alan Woolley, gets better every time I see it. Crystal, did you hear Starmer say, "Behind you as usual"? When Trump... Yes, I did, Crystal, I did. And it's just like this. It reminded me of the Eurovision Song Contest, John. Do you know what I mean? Le Royaume-Uni, ne point. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Oh, and of course, I mean, look, a little bit of fun there. Massively important day. Cynics will say, is it going to last? Other people will say, listen, he's got it done to this point. We had a lovely guy on, a spokesman for the Israeli embassy, who came to the studio and said, this is good, hostages released, but the remains of others have not been released. To Hamas playing games already. There's disarmament to come. There are genuine concerns. Celebrate today, but it's what happens further down, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, we've had the 20 living hostages, 20 surviving hostages, I think you should say. They've had them all back. Some terrible times that they've endured, some of these guys. So one of the ones that we all would have seen is Evyatar David. He's the chap, pictures went all around the world. So he was the guy who'd been starved so much he was looking skeletal. And there's this horrible video of him being forced to dig his own grave.
Terrible. Seen that.
Terrible.
Appalling.
And yeah, exactly. The conditions some of these guys are kept in, absolutely outrageous.
And let's not forget that they were taken hostage. This started on October the 7th. Absolutely.
Yeah, and they're not. I mean, bar one or two, they're not combatants in any way. They were people at music festivals, or they were people.
One hopes the psychological scarrings. I mean, it'll take absolutely years, and the deceased body, the 28. That's a concern as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So these bodies, as part of the deal was that all hostages, alive and dead, would be returned. Hamas had to admit that they couldn't actually locate all of the remains. So they'd essentially, when hostages died, they'd essentially left them behind in the tunnels. And I think 4 sets of remains they were able to locate.
But that leaves 24.
Yeah, so there's going to be a team that will go in. It'll be a multinational team will go in and try and locate these bodies.
Horrific. But I think those sorts of things put it into context. You know, when the reason I've done 20, because it can be so dark, and we've done it all day, and the thing that annoys me about the situation is that Starmer, the guy from the Israeli embassy, said your country has caused, in effect, or been part of a delay to this process because you recognise Palestine. And when he's there just trying to get Trump to say, well done, no, you didn't do well, Starmer. In fact, you were an embarrassment to us, and our country is a laughingstock on the international stage, and that embarrasses me.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, there were some stories today saying, oh, he's the John Terry of this process, because he's trying to piggyback in, and he wasn't really involved in it.
This is for anybody who doesn't know the story. John Terry was missed the Champions League final through suspension, watched from the stands, and when they won the Champions League, went into the changing room, put his Chelsea kit on, came out and picked up the trophy, and everybody went, but you didn't play, mate. Ryan's finger's going to hover over the button here, because we haven't talked about this, because I am literally on the cusp of saying the wrong thing. 2 prisoners have appeared in court accused of murdering the Lost Prophets pedo Ian Watkins, who got 29 years for some of the vilest and most depraved acts to children, including babies. Samuel Dodsworth, 43, and Rashid Goodell attacked the singer at Wakefield Prison on Saturday, and he died. They stabbed him in the neck.
Yes, well, look, as you say, this is going to be...
Ryan knows me that well, he knows what I want to say.
Exactly.
And everybody who listens to me knows exactly what I want to say. They're charging them with murder, are they?
Yeah, well, look,
okay,
they are... obviously, we can't say too much about them, because there'll be active proceedings. There'll be a trial of some description, so we wouldn't want to prejudice that. But obviously, Watkins, we broke this story yesterday. I mean, I had to read some of the sentencing remarks, and when you actually read, and which would...
We got kids, mate.
Which...
You watch babies being raped. Should we have it out? You watch babies being... It's vile.
It's even worse than that, what he did. Absolute lowest of the low. No one's going to be... No one's going to be
shedding a tear, are they?
But, I mean, beyond that, there is a lot of concern at Wakefield, because they fear copycat attacks on other... Because it's Monster Mansion is what it's called. So you've got people there like Roy Whiting, Mark Bridger, you've got Al-Qaeda terrorists, you've got rapists, horrible paedophiles. So it's caused a massive thing there. I mean, these 2 guys alleged to have done it. I don't think they're the nicest guys in the world.
No,
I think
they're not. No.
I don't think that will be prejudicing anything, and you know, all of that will come out at trial. But
Ryan's still looking at me absolutely desperate. I mean, I don't need to, because Johnny knows. Johnny and I are
But
exactly
Watkins,
the same.
he's an absolute animal, is what
Nobody
he was,
will miss him, will they?
No.
And there we go. A bidding war could break out between Channel 4 and the streaming giants over a reboot of The In-Betweeners. Netflix and Disney Plus could make offers to show the comedy, which starred Joe Thomas, Simon Bird, James Buckley and Blake Harrison as socially... Oh, I loved The In-Betweeners, didn't you?
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, that was sort of my era. But
Emily Atack?
Very nice lady. By all accounts.
Jodie's hitting the desk.
I've never met her, but...
I have.
Yeah. Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Nice.
Just had a baby.
Yes.
Yeah. Missed out again, didn't you, son?
Anyway, so we broke this story that that it's going to come back, and was talking to insiders today, and I think there's going to be a real bidding war.
Netflix, the reason that Netflix is so keen, and I knew this, and it's written in the story tomorrow, is they could also make a bid, especially after losing out the final episode of Gavin and Stacey to the BBC, because Netflix wanted that, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's one of the biggest shows. Now, the only slight concern we've got is this going to be the In-Betweeners, as people of a certain generation know and love it?
Correct,
crude, rude, all that sort of stuff that makes it good, or are we going to end up with a slightly watered-down version because this was...
You can't have a watered-down version of 4 virgins. I mean, listen, Jodie, do you remember The In-Betweeners, or are you too young? Yeah, our very own Emily Atack here in the studio, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an I thought it was great. It was so just wrong that it was right, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I don't know how Gen Z regard it now. Whether they...
Who are Gen Z?
Well, they would have been kids when it started, 4 or 5 years old. They're in their 20s now.
I don't care about them. They're probably too busy moaning about whatever. Turkey Twizzlers, what? Have been quietly axed 2 decades after TV chef Jamie Oliver. Jamie Oliver can never quite work out why he's on a healthy food campaign. Read your own notes. Saw them banned in school canteens. The controversial snack disappeared from shop shelves without an official announcement from makers Bernard Matthews.
Yeah, Turkey Twizzlers. I thought this was... I mean, it's gone under the radar, this story.
What is a Turkey Twizzler?
A Turkey Twizzler is a reformed meat product in a spiral pattern around a skewer.
It's like a pig's penis. Same shape.
Oh, is it? Is that?
I don't know. Jodie told me that the other day about a pig. Is that true?
I didn't realise that. I'll have to. I don't know if I'll Google it.
No. Turkey Twizzlers have gone. Do you know Bernard Matthews in Norfolk, isn't it?
Yeah, Turkey Twizzlers. So, 20 years ago, we all remember this big campaign by Jamie Oliver and get it out of school canteens. And I think he won a bit of a victory there.
He did, yeah.
And that's it, because it contained only 34% meat.
Yeah.
And we were feeding it to our kids.
Yeah.
Not very healthy. Probably contained all sorts of other junk.
But that's one of the great unanswered questions in life. Why do I love sausages so much when we know they're full of rubbish? But sausages are amazing, aren't they?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And if you knew what was in a sausage, you'd never eat it, would you?
You have to just pretend you don't. You're not thinking about it.
Not that I'm against what Jamie Oliver did, because it's all. But you know, I was thinking about the other day. My kids. I got an email the other day about my son's school, about what he was going to get for lunch, and there's like a salad bar, and you can pick pasta, or you can... Jesus Christ, we just had slop, man.
Yeah, I remember chips and cottage pie, some sort of description.
Lumpy custard. Did you ever have tapioca? Jodie, have you ever had tapioca? Do you remember tapioca?
Yes.
It was like frog spawn, wasn't it? Jodie's looking at the camera because she thinks I'm going to say something. What was your least favourite thing for school lunch?
My least favourite... I don't know, but you know, I was thinking about this the other day, because the sweet selection was always a nice bun.
A nice one?
An iced bun.
Oh,
nice bun.
Nice bun.
And I had a mate, it wasn't me, who was obsessed with ketchup. He had to have ketchup with everything. He'd have lashings of it.
Yeah, yeah.
And he would even spread tomato ketchup on top of his ice bun.
This is no good. See, he thought that was the cherry on the top,
He
right?
thought it was just fantastic.
This is outrageous. Now, you've done this at the wrong time, because I could have done this. We'll do it tomorrow. That's brilliant. What's the worst thing you've ever had? What was that tart, which was jam and then custard and coconut on top? What was that?
Oh, I know what you mean.
Manchester tart? No, what was it called? Don't look at me like that, Jodie. I know we need to break, but I'm more interested about what the tart was called. That didn't sound right if you just tuned in. Don't mention my... Anyway, Jake, seriously, fantastic. John Lucas, the wonderful, wonderful Sun Tomorrow. On a serious note, 738 days upheld the release of those 20 Israeli hostages. We've done that for 3 hours across the day. We've supported the Jewish cause quite rightly. There are still some concerns about the remains of the 28 deceased hostages. That will come out in the next few days. But to this point, good job by Trump. Watkins, Ian Watkins, lost profits, pedo, dead. Not a comment. In between is a bidding war. Turkey Swizzlers have gone, and I'm going to take you to a break because it's just too funny, by replaying the moment that Keir Starmer flew to Egypt and he waited on stage for Donald Trump to say well done to the United Kingdom, and he thought it'd be a really good idea when he said, "Where's the United Kingdom?" knowing full well that Starmer was behind him. He brought him up to the lectern and then completely embarrassed him. Enjoy, my friends, enjoy!
United Kingdom. Where's United Kingdom? Where's our friend? Where? Come here. Is everything going good? Very good. That's very nice of you here. These people all came in like 20-minute notice, and I
It's not merely Israel and Hamas, but many other sides that had to be brought in, such as the supporters of Hamas and others like that, to get to this point where finally the one thing that we always knew would end the conflict in sort of a military sense, i.e. the return of the hostages, has happened. So, you're right to say we don't know quite how it's going to unfold from here, but for this particular part, he said from day one, the hostages are all coming back. All of them are coming back, and he's got them back, and it was he and his administration who'd made the difference.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Back, Kev is here, and a tick. Tessa from Leicester just listen to what Trump says to Starmer when he shakes his hands. Thank you for coming, not thank you for your hard work. Ian Coates, hi Jess, that was so embarrassing. Trump didn't even say Starmer's name, just said, "Where's the United Kingdom?" And when he waved, it was even more bloody embarrassing. Talk, JK, that should be a knighthood. Watching Donald since early morning, I'm knackered. Madders, Smarma, pick me, just brilliant from Trump. Oh, the humiliation. That's better than when Lammy got burned. Clive and Solihull. Oh, God. This isn't the best. There isn't a good thing about Starmer. His only achievement is being the worst PM this country has ever had. Johnny Wynn, Carlisle, Starmer getting owned by Trump has made my day. Couple of quick callers very quickly. Pam's on Teesside. Pam, you got 1 minute on Talk Drive. What you got?
I came in from work and I saw Trump on the doing the Sharm el-Sheikh, so I phoned my son up. Have you seen the state of Keir Starmer? He was like a naughty boy outside of a headmaster's office. And then Trump did the ultimate. I have never laughed so much in my life.
Honestly,
and Giorgio Maloney, no eye contact at all with Starmer. I just absolutely loved it.
She's got no eye contact with Starmer because she's completely in love with Donald Trump. She's like, oh, you're so amazing to me. That's not an Italian accent.
Well, she made a statement yesterday saying that Starmer was only coming to be on the world stage.
I know.
Absolutely loved it. Keep up the good work, Jeremy. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Pam. Don't forget, Kev is here from 7. They are playing it again. Up to the lectern now. Bugger off, you nondescript, disinteresting idiots. Go away, Starmer. Spencer's a new caller in Oxford. Spencer, you're on Talk Drive. I've got 1 minute. What you got, kidder?
Hey, Jeremy. So it's been an amazing day for Israel. It's so great to see that all the hostages have finally been released after, I believe, 2 years.
Here.
And I just also want to say that Trump has done a really fantastic job. And, you know, with like you said before, with Joe Biden, he never acted upon...
It was on his desk for 4 years, man. It was on his desk.
Exactly. And that's the trouble, you know. I always had critiques about Biden, and, you know, I've got a pretty valid one now. But I also just want to say...
Very quickly...
I really think Starmer humiliated himself, and I just think it's shocking the way he acted on stage. So
couldn't agree more. Thank you. Lucy's in Hove. You got 30 seconds, Lucy. What do you make of it all?
Hello. I thought it was pretty pointless of him going all the way from Egypt because he didn't even say a word, and then he was at the back when Donald Trump told him you can go away now, get in the back.
It was the best moment of my broadcasting career. Starmer snubbed. Thank you so much indeed to everybody. Thank you to the team. Kev has just walked in. Is that not the funniest thing you've ever seen?
What a bizarre day. Really bizarre day.
Amazing, shocking, and then that humiliation.
It's Donald Trump as a ringmaster in a circus of his own triumph, and he's rubbing everyone's nose in it. He
knew exactly where Starmer was.
Macron and Starmer, he gave the real snub to.
Absolutely.
Quite rightly, because of course they're the recognisers of Palestine, and as the Israeli deputy